High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/Varsity Media. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Moglia Stadium on the campus of Fordham University. In the Rose Hill section of the Bronx, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents the first of 3 New York Catholic High School Football League championship games. This morning, it's the AA-2 championship featuring the Clippers of Xaverian and the Mountaineers of Mount St. Michael. Today's AA-2 championship game, sponsored by Catholic Health. Well, we welcome you inside the booth here at Moglia Stadium. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey alongside. We're going to take you from early morning into evening. 3 big games on tap, but we start with the AA-2 championship game. And what a story this is for these 2 teams. For Xaverian, a team that is trying to climb that ladder. It's not too many years removed from a team that was a AAA powerhouse. That might not be in the future with the landscape changing at the school, but they're looking to maybe move up to the AA-1. And for Mount, listen, the story is pretty simple, right? It is about Mario Valentini's in his 40th season, his last opportunity at a championship. He's retiring after this year. He still has the Turkey Bowl to play for, of course, against Cardinal Hayes, but would be great if they can get this championship win in the Bronx as well. Just a storybook kind of a morning for Mount St. Michael.
Yeah, Coach Valentini, he's had an illustrious career, and how fitting for him to be here back in a championship game here in the Bronx at Fordham University. So really looking to finish off things on the right note. As you mentioned, Xaverian is building right now. They're on the come up. They've made the trip in from Brooklyn. They're highly motivated to kind of avenge that 1-point loss that they had to Mount St. Michael earlier on in the regular season. So a huge opportunity here for both squads in this AA-2 championship game.
Good look there at the huddle for Xaverian, making their way from Bay Ridge all the way down in Brooklyn. And we take a look at the brackets and how these 2 teams got here. And you see Mount St. Michael, a nice win at home over Kennedy Catholic. And then Xaverian needed overtime to beat Holy Cross. And that was a tight game, but eventually, ultimately, your top 2 seeds make their way here into the AA-2 championship game. You mentioned that they did play each other out at Aviator Sports Complex in Brooklyn, a 1-point game. And the difference was a botched extra point attempt for Xaverian late in that game that would have tied it. That's how closely matched these 2 teams are, as you see the guys from Mount getting ready for the start of this one. When we look, Pat, at our players to watch in this one, we start with Xaverian, and again, Kevin Fontaine, you see him there addressing his guys before the start of this one. They've got some special athletes there down in Xaverian. We take a look at their players to watch now. And on offense, running the football, Freddie Scateri from Queens, and so many of these guys from Breezy, from Rockaway. So you know they've got the toughness, and Freddie's got that. You see his numbers on the season. just an undersized, tough kid, a bit of a throwback football player. On the right, Tommy McMorrow. What a season he has had for Xaverian. Look at the numbers from his linebacking position: 69 tackles, 3 for a loss, and a pair of interceptions as well.
Yeah, Freddie Scuteri, kind of the heartbeat of this Clippers offense for Xaverian. He's a little bit of an undersized guy, but puts in a ton of work in the weight room and really brings the pain when he runs the ball. Now on the flip side, Tommy McMorrow, an absolute stud, the senior from Queens. Bit undersized, but he's a tough kid and always knows where he needs to be on the field, kind of the brains of that operation on defense for Xaverian.
And when we look at Mount St. Michael, we saw them a year ago, right, in this same game where they fell to Xavier from Manhattan. So they're looking to bounce back from that championship loss. A little bit of unfinished business this year for the Mountaineers, and they're led by a couple guys who were part of that crew. You see Carl Shaw on the left, the running back, also a linebacker. He's that true football player, right? The guy who can kind of play multiple positions and play them really well. And on the other side, Jonathan A AA-2, a terrific two-way player as well. He's all over the place defensively in coverage, sometimes on the edge. He blocks punts, sacks. He's all over the place for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, both of these guys will hit you all day long. Carl Shaw likes to bring the wood from that running back position. 12 touchdowns total on the year so far, so really dynamic back there for Mount. And then on the flip side of the ball, A AA-2 is just a guy who plays with incredible physicality there from that strong safety position. Look for him to be flying down from the secondary, making plays all over the field.
So you see the guys from Mount and Xaverian getting set for the start of this one. Game 1 of 3 here today from Fordham University. A terrific site. Last year we were out at Mitchell Athletic Complex, of course, in Uniondale. But listen, this is a gorgeous campus. It's such a terrific site to have these 3 games, and you could see a little bit of it there as well, right? It's a college football field, a great campus as well. So what a venue to host these 3 games.
Yeah, incredible venue out here, Dylan. As you mentioned, the past couple years we've been out at Mitchell Field in Nassau County, but that balance of power in the Catholic League this year has kind of swung in the direction of Westchester and these New York City schools. So a lot of schools out here, really excited to be a little bit closer to home, especially, you know, Mount St. Michael right down the street.
Yeah, and of course our last game of the evening, the AAA championship, it's Iona from just over the border in New Rochelle against Cardinal Hayes from the other side of the Bronx. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the keys for this one, for these 2 teams, and our conversation with these 2 head coaches. And Kevin Fontaine for Xaverian, wants to make sure that he gets good quarterback play from Jude Van Ooyen. And also, don't let Mark Pearson extend plays. He's that guy, when he scrambles and he looks like he's in trouble, he's not. He's in control. So you have to be wary of that. And listen, special teams, both coaches highlight that because of how that one ended, right? Again, Xaverian an opportunity to tie, maybe force overtime in the first meeting. They don't get the extra point, and they lose by 1. And you see for Mount as well, right? You don't want to give up big plays, and a balanced offensive attack. Too often this year for Mount, it's been a run heavy and then a pass heavy. He would like a little more balance. Had that against Kennedy Catholic. He will need it here today as well.
Yeah, a razor-thin margin for error for both squads out here today. Very close on a talent basis. So last time came down to special teams that missed PAT to finish a game by Xaverian, letting that one go to Mount. I think execution is going to be at a premium here today, championship football.
It is Xaverian. It is Mount St. Michael. It's the AA-2 championship game, opening kickoff when we return on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Inside the 10 to the end zone.
Oh, he's got a wide open receiver. A.J. Duff. Get out of the way!
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level.
And we're back here at the picturesque campus here in Rose Hill. Fordham University is the site as the AA-2 championship game set to begin. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey, our entire Varsity Media crew here with you. It is Mount to kick off to Xaverian to get this one started. And they'll push the football up a little bit. We forgot where we had to be.
A lot of excitement here. This grandstand at Fordham University, a lot of fans made the trip out here for this AA-2 title game, ready to get this one kicked off.
For the Mount, kicking off, you see number 80, Tahiti O'Connor, puts it up in the air. 3 are deep, and this one is returnable at about the 12-yard line, and a quality return as well for Xaverian. It is number 1 for the Clippers, Spiros Drosos, as now the Xaverian offense will take the field for the first time, led by their junior QB, Jude Van Ooyen. You see his numbers on the year, 86 for 191, baseball player as well. The funny thing Kevin Fontaine said about him was, listen, don't take it the wrong way, but he's from Park Slope, but he's tough. He's not soft. And tough is also what Mount brings defensively. First play from scrimmage, a handoff, which went backwards. Chris Duffy, it looked like, was running the football for Xaverian. We'll try to get to their starters soon, but you can see tempo right now by the Clippers. They want to move fast, Pat.
Absolutely. They keep things going all day. You can barely catch your breath on the defensive side for Mount.
Twin receivers at the top and the bottom of your screen. Van Ooyen back to pass. Good protection. Rolls out to his right. Still rolls and just throws it to his sideline. So now we have an opportunity. Let's look at the starters offensively for Xaverian. Van Ooyen joined by Scateri. Your receivers are Conti, Drosos, Hernandez. Your tight end, Donato, up front. Hilla, Ferris, Parada, Smith, and Regan. Third down now for Xaverian. Van Ooyen, empty backfield. Rolls right again. Diving to make the catch. Haven't seen the signal yet. They'll say it's no catch. So 3 and out for Xaverian. The Mount defense, let's meet them real quick. They did the job, Pat. Up front, Caldwell, Smith, and Edwards. Your linebackers are just Sean Dixon. Then we roll 6 in the defensive side, on the defensive secondary. Greenway, Cabrera, O2, Joseph Williams, and Bustamante.
Yeah, as you can see right there, that defense loaded up with defensive backs, and they're going to need it all day long to stop Jude Van Ooyen and this Clippers offensive attack. Great opening for the Mountaineers D.
Timmy Hayes to punt. It's a short one. Fair catch is called for at the 39-yard line, and that's where Nico Bustamante makes the catch. So the Mount offense onto the field. They'll be led there by Mark Pearson. He was the quarterback a year ago for the AA-2 championship game. And Pearson, you see his numbers on the year as well. It's not the same receiving core as last year, Pat, but listen, Pearson throws a really good football. He's athletic, and he's a guy who's got a lot of big game experience under his belt.
Yeah, at 6'3", 180, he's kind of a prototype back there at QB, and they've been leaning to the run game a little bit more, but very effective signal caller up front for Mount.
Pearson's first attempt batted down at the line. Let's meet the offense for Mount, if we can. The Mountaineers looking to move fast too. Pearson, Shaw, Perez, Agogne, and Ferrin. Up front, it's Pearson, Pirovich, Martinez, Williams, Caldwell, and Lacasse. 2nd and 10 for Mount. Shaw to Pearson's left hip. That's a pass. That's complete to this near sideline. Nelson Perez out to about the 44-yard line. Let's meet the Xaverian defense now. Farina, Regan, Ferris, and Cadot up front. It's Blackwell and McMorrow along with Hayes and Owens. The linebackers, your corners are Conti and Gallagher. And Finbar McGinnis, nice Irish lad from Breezy, is your free safety.
It's a big 3rd down here for this Mount offense. 3rd and 5, some great field position on their opening drive.
Pearson under pressure, and he is sacked, loses the football, or was he down? They'll say he was down, but a terrific defensive play by Xaverian. Michael Blackwell leading the charge.
Michael Blackwell, the senior linebacker at 6'2", 210, is just a threat off the edge here. You'll see him showing blitz, come in there late, and by the time Pearson recognizes that, it's too late. Excellent execution by the big senior.
Yeah, Timmy Hayes also in there as well. So 3 and out now for Mount as they are set to punt. Doing those honors is also Tahati O'Connor. Was part of that championship soccer team. This is returnable from the 40, but a short return at that. And this battle of field position early on, Pat. Xaverian now their 2nd chance from midfield.
Yeah, a bit of a unnecessary risk there for Xaverian on that punt return, but fortunate that they're able to come down with that one. Now an opportunity to kind of settle in a little bit. That first opening series, 3 and out, was a little bit erratic, so look for Van Ooyen to kind of settle in here.
Interesting that both teams looking for the tempo, looking to move quickly here on this Saturday morning in the Bronx, and the Mount defense moved really too quickly there. So they'll be flagged for the penalty. Our referee for today's game, Peter Jackson.
I love that hard count from Coach Fontaine there at the Xaverian. Oh, you know that Mount defense is anxious and excited here at home in the Bronx for the championship game, so using the hard count gets them on their heels a little bit more.
Some movement defensively from Mount as well. 1st and 5 for the Clippers. Van Ooyen, empty backfield, pressured, finds his receiver. It's the big man, Christian Donato, your tight end, and he'll get out towards midfield, really close to the 1st down marker.
Yeah, Christian Donato is kind of a safety blanket out there for Van Ooyen. That was his 17th catch on the year, and he kind of does it all, blocking, receiving. Very reliable guy over the middle.
And actually, they'll say that he did move the chain, so 1st and 10 for Xaverian. And Donato, the only guy on this roster to cross the Verrazano every day. It's not a short trip once you get over the Verrazano to Xaverian right there in Bay Ridge, but a lot of guys from Brooklyn, of course. You've got a whole host of guys coming from the Rockaways. We'll talk more about that as the broadcast goes along. So first down of this game, it's Hernandez who's being motioned to the right. The handoff goes instead up the middle to Duffy. And Duffy gets a nice push from his boys up front to get a couple yards on 1st down.
Yeah, it's a nice job by the Mount defense kind of collapsing in there. You'll see Jonathan O2 kind of flying down, number 4, from that strong safety spot, able to minimize the damage there on 1st down.
Duffy, what a warrior he is, Pat. He's a guy who's been playing all year, including this game, with a torn labrum. He's going to need surgery likely at the end of the season, but no chance that he wasn't finishing this football season, which is his last in high school.
I tore a labrum in college, played through that for a few games, and I can tell you it's excruciating pain. So really props to Chris Duffy for his fighting spirit.
Here's he out to Drosos, and Drosos will move the chains. Down at about the 34.
Spiros is just kind of an electric receiver out there for that Xaverian. Oh, he's made some spectacular catches all year. And right there, Van Ooyen just dials him up to move the chains. Got to love what you're seeing on this drive right now if you're a Clippers fan.
Yeah, more comfortable, right, I think is what it is. There were probably a lot of nerves on that first drive. Another handoff up the middle. That was Duffy, and he was stuffed.
Yeah, kind of host of Mount St. Michael defenders coming through there. I saw Marquise Dixon, the senior, up the middle.
Jair Edwards as well, the nose guard. You see the big 58 right there. Just, by the way, 58, a baby, a freshman. How about that? 6'2", 265 for Jair Edwards.
That'll get some college coaches excited.
Oh, yeah. 2nd and 11. And that is incomplete. The intended target was Owen Conti.
Yeah, really nice play here out in coverage by Nico Bustamante. Their senior, such a reliable guy out there on the edge, kind of shut things down. That's a key play there on 2nd down to set up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, Pat, outside of the quarterbacks, I think we might be mentioning Bustamante's name the most because he is everywhere. He's kickoff and punt return, plays on both sides of the ball as well. Van Ooyen and had a receiver, but that receiver slipped at about the 22-yard line. It was Drosos, so that was an incomplete pass, which brings up a 4th and 11, which given where you are in the field, it's an opportunity, it looks like, here for Xaverian to go for it.
Yeah, you know, as a coach, you never love sending your offense out there for a 4th and 11 type scenario, but given the field position on the field at the 34, most likely you're going to have to stay out there, try and move the chains with Van Ooyen's arm.
So first 4th down attempt for either team. Maybe Van Ooyen would like to get the hard count here and maybe get 5 more yards, make it a little bit more manageable. Back to pass, fires it over the middle into a host of players, and a terrific job defensively by Jonathan A-2.
Great job by A-2, but really what catches my attention here is number 17 coming off the edge, Xavierian Pearson. You'll see him coming off that right edge for Mount, and he just gets right up in the face of Van Ooyen, rushes that throw a little bit. Really nice job by the senior defensive lineman.
So Mount's defense, a stout unit, bent a little bit field position-wise, but when they needed the big play, they got it, and now the Mountaineers take over on their own 34-yard line.
Another opportunity for this Mount offense. Look for Pearson to kind of settle in here on this 2nd drive.
Pump fake off the hands of Nelson Perez and incomplete. Good coverage there by the Clippers. You see number 7, Finbar McGinnis, leading the charge. 2 interceptions in the semifinal win against Holy Cross.
Yeah, McGinnis has been playing the best football of his career. Only a junior, so a guy who's still growing in this game, but super high ceiling for him back there. Keeping things safe in that Xaverian defense.
Pearson now under center. Goes to Carl Shaw, runs towards that Xaverian sideline and towards that 1st down marker. Forced out a little bit shy, it looks like, of that marker, but a good solid run by the junior from the Bronx.
Carl Shaw, just a guy that's been so reliable all year, can do a little bit of everything, can run around you, can run you over. There you see the Mount offense get a little bit creative here with that misdirection. Number 7 able to get the edge there. Very nice pickup on 2nd down. So a huge 3rd and short situation here near midfield for this Mount St. Michael offense. Looking to kind of set the tone here in this AA-2 title game.
Quick out. And was that a 1st down? That's the question as Bustamante made the catch.
A whole host of Xaverian defenders in there, including Timmy Hayes, a senior middle linebacker from Queens. Plays on their basketball team, so he's quite the athlete. Flying over there. But yeah, sets up a huge 4th down situation. 4th and 1 in Mount territory. Big call early on for Coach Valentini. One thing that might make this call a little bit easier is you got a great defense on the other side. And it looks like they're going to roll the dice, leave the ball in the hands of Mark Pearson in this offense.
Well, let's see if we go hard count first. Pearson under center. He'll hand off. Nice juke to the outside. But the Xaverian defense came up big. Looks like that was Dominguez, 12, and Blackwell looks like again with the stop.
Yeah, it's a huge play by the senior, number 17, Michael Blackwell. He's going to come through on kind of an A-gap blitz right here, just meet him in the hole, and that's kind of a man-on-man. Who wants it more? Right there, the 210-pound senior from Brooklyn wins that one, and he's going to get the ball back to his offense. Great job there by Michael Blackwell.
Although, hang on a second. Hold the phone.
Did I speak too soon?
Yeah, we're gonna. It looked like he was short. We're gonna make it official with this measurement here at midfield. And yeah, definitely short. So the Xaverian defense also makes a 4th down stop.
You know, both defenses kind of coming out hot here. Guess it makes a lot of sense, you know, considering some of the relative youth and inexperience on the offensive side of the ball for both of these teams, and the fact that you got some bright lights on a championship day. So really going to come down to which offense can settle in and actually execute as you get some momentum.
So Xaverian takes over at the 44 of Mount. This defensive battle has lived up to what we thought. Van Ooyen over the middle. Look out! The defense steps up, and it's the big baby, Jair Edwards.
Also in there was number 2, D'Angelo Cabrera, coming off the edge. You'll see Cabrera right here off that right side. Dips in, and just not enough time for Van Ooyen. Sits there and holds it at the same time as Edwards gets there. So great job on the blitz by that Mount defense to set the tone on 1st down.
Van Ooyen, the out to Drosos. Beats the first tackler, and a good tackle there by the second man. I think that was Dixon, Marquise Dixon, the senior from the Bronx.
It's a nice little pickup on 2nd down and make it a little bit more of a 3rd and manageable, but nonetheless, 3rd and 11, not what you want to walk into against this vaunted Mount St. Michael defense.
Van Ooyen, a big drop, goes to Duffy, and Duffy is stopped. Carl Shaw, man, this defense, Pat, they are flying around for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, this defense is playing fast. They're having fun out here right next to their backyard, and this time around it's Carl Shaw. You'll see number 7 just flying with reckless abandon there to shut down this screenplay. Chris Duffy, no chance out there in the open field, and the junior is going to get the ball back for his offense.
And this time it looks like Xaverian will not go for it here from midfield. They'd rather play the field position game. So the punter is Timmy Hayes. Anthony Farina is your long snapper. Deep for the Mount. You see a pair of players.
Looks like Perez, one of the deep men back.
A short punt. And it will take a little bit of a Xaverian bounce, and the Mounts will take over from their own 26. They're led, of course, by their head coach, Mario Valentini. We mentioned it in the beginning. What a story it is for Mario. 40th and final season as Mount St. Michael head coach in his 45th season overall at the school. He knows the storylines. He prefers to keep the attention on his kids, but what a memorable final game, or I shouldn't say final game, final championship game. There's the Turkey Bowl, the 80th annual against Hayes coming up, but what an opportunity here to win one final championship. Fumble up the middle, and Xaverian has recovered. Shaw fumbled the football, and it's picked up by Andrew Owens, number 6.
Andrew Owens, another reliable senior backer in there for Xaverian, is going to come in and jump on this one. But let's see who pried it loose.
99.
Looked like it's 99 off of the edge there. Jaden Kudat. Great job by the junior from Brooklyn, who's a great student as well, getting that ball pried loose. And all of a sudden, a huge injection of energy for this Xaverian offense. Huge opportunity here inside the 30-yard line of Mount St. Michael.
Yeah, first big chance now for the Clippers. Van Ooyen, that's complete to the 20. So it'd be 1 yard shy of the first down marker.
Yeah, nice catch there by Antonio Hernandez, who's actually a guy who had a catch in their semifinal game last week against Holy Cross.
And he's that track guy. He's the speed option among those wide receivers. The junior with 4 touchdowns on the year. So 2nd and 1 from the 20.
feel a lot of the momentum kind of shifted over to that Xaverian sideline. It's going to be important to capitalize here in the red zone.
Van Ooyen hands off. That looks like it's Duffy. Duffy tries to push, but he's pulled backwards. He'll get a yard on that run. But again, when you try to go into the teeth of the Mount defense, man, that is hard sledding.
Yeah, not easy running it inside. Props to that left side of the offensive line for Xaverian, getting just enough space to move the chains. Matthew Ferris, Mateo Parada, Brian Hilla, a bunch of guys inside. Been having a really good game so far, giving great time to Jude Van Ooyen as well.
So red zone time, 1st and 10 from the 19. Van Ooyen pump fakes, looks out, and from behind, he is sacked. Fumble. Looks like Xaverian has picked up the football.
And that's Zaire Caldwell coming off the edge, playing with some anger right there and chasing down Van Ooyen. He's not going to give him even a chance. You see that shoulder dip coming off the edge, a sure sign of a great DN, and Caldwell, the 230-pound junior from the Bronx, able to get that huge first down stop.
So now 2nd and 13 for the Clippers. Hernandez in motion. The handoff up the middle. It's Scuteri. And Scuteri will get to about the 19-yard line.
It's a really nice job kind of blowing this one up from the jump by number 4, Jonathan A-2, who's going to come through on a blitz. And then all of a sudden, Ronan Smith is going to chase that one down from the backside. So, you blink, and if you're Xaverian, you're looking at a 3rd and 9. Not exactly where you wanted to be. This crucial area of the field.
And here we go for Xaverian. Conti, the lone receiver at the bottom of your screen, will go the other way. That's complete to Donato, but again, rallying to the football, the Mount. Big play, which will set up, looks like a 4th and about 4.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, decision time for Coach Kevin Fontaine. 4th and 4 from about the 14 or so yard line. So you're looking at maybe a 31, 32-yard field goal from here.
Yeah, Julian Hassan is the kicker for Xaverian. It looks like we'll have a conversation that will extend. So timeout for Xaverian.
Last time these two teams met, 14-13, obviously points right at a premium. So it's a really important decision here. Do you go for it, 4th and 4, but having some success on offense, or do you try and take what should be a relatively safe field goal here from about the 13-yard line?
We're super excited to announce our partnership with Gipper, the #1 social media content creation platform for athletic programs. So you see a lot of our graphics going forward. Social media is with Gipper. And if you want to make it part of your athletic program, you can visit Gipper.com to learn more.
High school coaches have always had so much on their shoulders, whether it be running off-season programs, trying to work with youth programs in the middle schools to get their schemes enabled. So, one less thing you have to worry about is always a big help. And that social media element is so crucial for so many programs nowadays. So, Gipper, great partner for us and a great partner for all those different athletics programs that they enable throughout the tri-state area.
So Hassan will attempt the 29-yard field goal. Farina is the snapper. Aiden Leary is the holder. The kick is up, and it is good. So Hassan nails it from 29 yards, and Xaverian has the first points of the game.
Yeah, it's a really huge kick here by Hassan. 29 yards is not a chip shot at the high school level. You'll see that right there, up and over the D, and able to squeak that one through. Gotta feel good for number 98, giving his Clippers the 3-0 lead here in this AA-2 title game.
1:18 remaining in this first quarter. We expected this one to be a low-scoring encounter. Again, 14-13 back on October 7th. It was a game where Pearson went 6 for 8 for 47 yards, rushed for a touchdown. Shaw rushed for 48 yards and a touchdown. Tahiti O'Connor went 2 for 2 on his PATs. Van Ooyen was 15 for 31 for 123. Duffy had 3 carries for 30 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that botched PAT was the difference in that one. 14-13, Mount left Aviator with the win.
These teams are incredibly evenly matched. Even looking here today, kind of the difference in this ball game is each team has a fumble on offense. The difference is Mount St. Michael lost their fumble, and that's the 3-0 lead that you see here right now for Xaverian.
And that one will go out of bounds, so we'll have a penalty here, which will give us an opportunity to take a look at the season that has been for Mount St. Michael. You see it started in the Battle of the Bronx against Fordham. They had a few of those battles of the Bronx. They lost the first one, they won the second one, then they beat Xavier, Christ the King. That was that Xaverian game you mentioned, and then a nice run as well. The only loss in that 10-7 game to see. You beat Kennedy Catholic a few times, and you are here. And yes, coming up on Thursday morning from Rocco Camiso Field, the 80th annual Turkey Bowl between Cardinal Hayes and Mount St. Michael.
Yeah, you get the sense that the theme this year for Mount St. Michael was kind of unfinished business. You know, they made it to this game a year ago, lost a heartbreaker to Xavier out of New York City. And if you're Mount St. Michael, you're looking to not only finish off this season on the right note, but finish off Mario Valentini's incredible career on the right note. Obviously, he does have Turk Bowl next week, but in championship games.
And that will be against an alum, C.J. O'Neill, class of 1987 from the Mount. Played for Mario Valentini as well.
I'm sure we'll get to it, but Coach O'Neill had so many great words to say about the impact Coach Valentini had on his life and career.
Backing up there was D'Angelo Cabrera. Breaks the first tackle, but then a host of Clippers pushes him backwards. So let's see what Mount has here to respond to that Hassan field goal.
You know, I think if you're Mount, you just got to keep doing what you do best. They've been really primarily a running team all year long, so really trying to establish that presence on the ground. I think on paper you look at the way your line of scrimmage lines up, your O-line against this Xaverian D-line, you like the opportunities created, time to just go execute.
So Mount 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line. Handoff up the middle, good run there, good carry on first down. He went up the middle.
Looks like Tyler Bobe right there.
Yeah.
Bobe, you know, not the biggest guy in the world at about 135 pounds, but nonetheless has that toughness to run hard in the trenches, in between the tackles, and they're getting it done.
Yeah, he comes from Yonkers. Rinse and repeat for the Mounts, and they will move the chains. Another quality run by Bobe. Had great experience, Pat, last year in that championship game and really throughout that season. And listen, when he gets this chance, man, he runs the ball hard.
Yeah, you know, a guy who wasn't thrilled the fact that he wasn't the starter to begin the year, but hey, he's maximized every single opportunity he's gotten, and I just love that play calling. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep going back to the same well. And again.
Let's bring it again. Bobe to the 50.
There you go, Bobe. Finally wrestled down by Michael Blackwell, but, you know.
And he did his job.
Like clockwork, over and over again. 5-6 yards, and they're pulling him out of the game there and maybe give him a quick breather. But if I'm calling plays in the Mount sideline, I'm going back to that.
And he's a guy, too. Last year's championship game, even though it was a defeat, played really well in that one as well. So that will do it for the first quarter. An entertaining one with Xaverian leading 3-0. You're watching this CHSFL AA-2 championship game presented by Catholic Health and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hey, this is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Look at that. Is that the bridge that I took here today? I think it was, right? Rogsneck, perhaps? We are in the Bronx. Some great foliage as well across the way. This is a dual complex here. On the other side of it, it's Jack Coffey Field, the baseball field for Fordham. And on this side, of course, is where the Rams football team and this year the Catholic Championship games are played.
Yeah, beautiful venue here, named after Joe Moglia, the famous coach from Coastal Carolina, also Wall Street Titan at Ameritrade. One of my personal heroes is somebody who works in finance.
Yeah, you walked along his way here to get up to the press box as a short gain, if any, by 0-2. And this will set up a 3rd and long for the Mounts.
They haven't given Pearson many opportunities, kind of just drop back and try and drive this ball downfield a little bit. So maybe an opportunity here on 3rd and 6.
Pearson back to pass, chase down, and this is where sometimes he's at his most dangerous. Scrambles, and just heads it, nearly hitting the Mountaineers mascot. But great pressure applied by Finbar McGinnis.
Yeah, McGinnis does a great job coming in off this blitz. And then as well, you got Michael Blackwell in pursuit of Pearson. And Pearson just smart to get this ball away, live to see another down.
And you could see in the conversation there with his head coach, Mario Valentini, wanting him to perhaps go down the field. Maybe there were options that were open there. So punt opportunity for the Mount. Again, it is O'Connor to do so. He's got both duties this year, kicking and punting. And this was a short one that takes a great Mount bounce, and it will go out of bounds at about the 23-yard line.
You know, we've been talking about special teams till we're blue in the face, but, you know, lucky there for Mount to get a good bounce.
Yeah, good look there at Kevin Fontaine, Nazareth 84. Here's an interesting one, too. He played and started coaching his career under Xaverian's first ever football coach, the great Dom Lorendi. Fontaine then was the Nazareth head coach, went and coached at the Merchant Marine Academy, and was an assistant under Dino Mangiero at Poly. For some of those terrific Poly teams, was the head coach there as well. Fumble on the ball, and Van Ooyen just turns, tries to get it. And I think he did. Referee Peter Jackson pointing to the ground at the 20-yard line. So tragedy averted for the Clippers.
Yeah, fortunate for Van Ooyen that he's able to get up okay from this one. Kind of awkward how he goes back and reaches for that fumble. And if you're a Clippers fan, you just got to feel good to retain possession on that first down.
And that your quarterback didn't suffer a big injury, man. That he was all contorted in the worst ways. You got twin receivers at the bottom of your screen. Off of that loss of 5. Van Ooyen back to pass, goes over the middle. That's complete again. Drosos, he has been his security blanket this morning.
Yeah, Drosos having himself a good day, but really what's standing out for me so far on the offensive side of the ball for Xaverian is just their ability to create a really clean pocket for Jude Van Ooyen. He's getting that crisp room to step up, survey the offense, and really drive into his balls, and really that's been kind of a difference maker on the offensive side.
So 3rd and 9 now for the Clippers. Van Ooyen, pressure is coming. Rolls right, tries to find the receiver. It's tipped and intercepted by Bustamante.
This is the exact injection of life that you were looking for if you're a Mount St. Michael fan. Bustamante able to dive off this batted ball, but you'll see right here, looks like Caldwell off the edge, continues in that pursuit of Van Ooyen. Van Ooyen holds on just a little too long, errant throw, and Bustamante, the recipient. Huge shift in momentum and an opportunity here for this Mount St. Michael's team.
It tipped off the hands of Cabrera, and then Nico on the spot. Bustamante dives for that interception. We said we would call his name a lot today,
oh,
right?
Yeah. And Coach Valentine, he's got to feel like $1 million right now on that sideline for Mount St. Michael.
And now he's drawing up the play here with his guys. Says he still gets that feeling that in the pit of the butterflies, man, he still gets jacked for game day. And listen, when you do this for 40 years, it is not a job, man. It is a vocation.
Exactly. It's a lifestyle for these guys. He's changed so many lives through his 40 years of coaching. You got a lot of players fighting out here for him today.
What a play by Pearson. Somehow evades the pressure and finds the receiver in Cabrera.
He does a really nice job by Pearson, just kind of keeping his eyes downfield. He's surveying the field, gets to his second or third read here, hits Cabrera on the scramble, and that's got to feel good on first down, giving yourself a 2nd and 2.
Yeah, at the 25-yard line. Early portions of this second quarter, it's Xaverian with a 3-0 lead in this AA-2 championship game. The first of 3 that we'll have for you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. It's more Catholic and St. John the Baptist in the AA-1. And then the big boy game, it's Iona and Cardinal Hayes around 6 o'clock this evening as timeout called by the Mount. We'll take a look at some of the previous champions in AA-2. Again, Mount played in this game a year ago, losing to Xavier. And there you see Chris Stevens lifting the trophy a year ago. And it's been an interesting one too, right? Because you see a lot of these teams who have moved up in the divisions, up in competition. Again, this isn't like the public schools where it's based on enrollment. It is competitive. So you want to move up the ladder. You want to go AA-1, or even AAA, which is where Holy Trinity has made their way after winning this one in 2021, and more Catholic as well. A powerhouse now in AA-1. We'll see them later today as well.
Yeah, you know, this AA-2 division has served as a great springboard. You see a couple other schools. St. John the Baptist also going to be in that AA-1 title game here this afternoon. But absolutely, this game serves as a great opportunity to build momentum in your program, gain championship experience, and you mentioned it, you know, that goal of moving up every year. Whether it's Mount or Xaverian who wins this game, probably an opportunity to do so next year.
The Mount has three AAA championships to their name, 1 AA title. Their last AAA title was back in 1997. They went back-to-back there. They beat St. Anthony's in both years. Flag is thrown. Back then, the AAA championship game was played at St. John's University when St. John's had football. So that was kind of a regular appearance for many years, it looked like, for Mario Valentini, certainly. Said last year when he went to Mitchell, he said he's never played there before. This a venue a little bit more familiar to the Mount, that is for sure.
An opportunity here for Mount to win their first championship since 2009, the AA-1 title against Cardinal Hayes. So you know it means a lot to this program.
And Pearson finds his intended target. That is a catch by number 18 on the play, Travis Agogne. And it's 1st and goal now for the Mount.
Agogne, only 5'8", 135 pounds, but don't judge him based off of his size. He's got some great hands. Talented receiver out there on the edge. You'll see he finds that little soft spot in the defense for Xaverian.
So 1st and goal from the 8-yard line for Mount. Shaw, the inside feed, turns towards the goal line, and he stopped short at the 1.
Carl Shaw run right behind number 51, Zaire Caldwell, on that right side of the Mount offensive line. And he's just a guy who runs real hard, did not want to be denied, and able to move that down to the 1-yard line.
So 2nd and goal from the 1 now for the Mount. Pearson under center. Hands off Shaw, powers towards the end zone, and he finds it. Big touchdown by Carl Shaw, his 12th rushing touchdown of the season. And Mount has the 6-3 lead, point after attempt pending.
What I love here is Coach Valentini using the oldest trick in the book. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Once again, goes to Carl Shaw behind the best offensive lineman he's got. Zaire Caldwell, and that time pays off in a big way to give Mount the 6-3 lead here pending this PAT.
Yeah, it's O'Connor to kick. Cabrera is your long snapper, and Bustamante, we said we'd call his name. He's the holder, and that kick is up and good. So the Mount responds to that early deficit, and they take a 7-3 lead in the Bronx. We'll take a quick break. and we'll return right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
We welcome you back to Fordham University. Fresh off of the 1-yard touchdown run by Carl Shaw. That's given the Mount a 7-3 lead over Xaverian in this the AA-2 championship game. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey, the entire Varsity Media crew with you. O'Connor back now to kick.
Dylan, early on kind of felt like both teams were a little bit anxious. Some uncharacteristic mistakes in that first quarter, but both squads kind of settling in here in this second quarter.
Drosos, quality return. Hit hard, though, which is what the Mount defense or the Mount crowd likes to hear, certainly.
Yeah, Drosos wasn't feeling good after that one. Good to see him get up because he's already having himself a great championship Saturday. So another opportunity for Jude Van Ooyen to lead this charge on offense for the Clippers. They've been doing a really good job protecting him, giving him some time.
I've been really impressed with the Mount defense to this point. It's the strong point, certainly, of this team, but, oh man, do they fly to the football? Do they hit hard? Van Ooyen fakes the handoff. Got me as well. Faked it to Duffy and kind of sidearmed it to 87, finding his intended target in Donato. Oh, there's a flag, though, on the field.
Yeah, it looks like he might have crossed the line of scrimmage before letting go of this ball. It's certainly very close. But you do have to admire the craftsmanship, going a little bit of Matt Stafford sidearm action.
And that's what
out of Van Ooyen.
Yeah, sorry, Pat. That's what our referee, Peter Jackson, says. So this will back up Xaverian. You see it again.
Peter Jackson trying to determine who gets to be Lord of the Rings today.
I was wondering who. So Chris Sweeney got that as well before. I'm glad that you picked up on that as well. Jared Veluzzi, he'll do sidelines in the next 2 games. It was completely over his head.
That's a shame. Anybody who hasn't seen a Lord of the Rings trilogy, get out there. Come on.
So 1st and 15. Ooh, some movement at the top of your screen. And who moved first? Was it Hernandez? And it was. So now it's back-to-back penalties for Xaverian, which means I've never been good at math, but that means you're backed up 10 yards now.
Yeah, 1st and 20 is the last thing you want to be looking at. If you're Kevin Fontaine's offense, trying to make a comeback here, down 7-3. They're going to have to probably resort to the air to try and claw back some of this yardage.
It's Duffy, breaks the first tackle, gets into the secondary. Power running by Duffy, at least getting back to that original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that torn labrum isn't a factor on this play for number 22, Chris Duffy. The tough senior at 205 is going to run through the tackles, breaking arm tackles with ease, and then finishing for an extra about 5 yards after that initial contact.
Van Ooyen wobbles that throw. It was caught, but it's actually for no gain to Hernandez.
Yeah, it's a risky play here. Van Ooyen, kind of a botched delivery, staring down his receiver. And fortunate that Hernandez able to just dive on that one, no gain.
So 3rd and 10 for Xaverian. The Mountain defense, and a lot of these guys do go both ways, feeling like they can get something here.
Mount to dial up some pressure here.
Van Ooyen goes far sideline and overthrows his intended target. That was number 2, Owen Conti.
So Mount actually showed a little bit of pressure there, fell off the blitz and actually dropped, looked like 7 back into coverage. That's a tough read right there for Van Ooyen. That time throwing into a very tight window, unable to connect.
It's Bustamante and Perez deep for Mount. And backing up is Timmy Hayes, your punter. Farina, the long snapper. And this is a short one as well. Sky high. And will just take a bounce at the 45 and kind of look like it was volleyballed back and forth over that 45-yard line.
Yeah, a slight special teams miscue there all of a sudden gives this Mount offense great field position as they look to extend their lead to 2 scores.
Listen, both coaches mentioned in their keys to the game special teams, right? And it wasn't just coach speak. It loomed large in that regular season game, and things like that are important in this one as well.
Especially in a game like today where both offenses are kind of going through it a little bit, having some challenges. Field position becomes of paramount importance. So that's a pretty consequential punt right there. Let's see if Mount can capitalize.
Yeah, they've got a first down here as Pearson rolls out. And that's caught. A terrific catch. Ranging back was Agoynye.
We mentioned it earlier. He's about 5'8", but don't tell that to him. Plays wide receiver like a big man right here, coming back to the ball, high pointing it. And a huge play right there on first down to get things going for this Mountaineers offense.
Yeah, he moves the chains to the 18-yard line. Travis Agoynye, a guy really only 6 receptions on the year, so not many touches, but has that speed. Another guy, right? Just 5'8", 135. But listen, you know, if you get the ball around him, he's going to make the catch.
Great job coming back to the ball there. And receivers at home take notes.
So your guy, Bo Bay, now back. Now blocking for Pearson. The out route is caught. Breaking tackles, finding his way in the end zone, and a touchdown for Nelson Perez.
Nelson Perez had a terrific game against Kennedy, was a catalyst in that win, and now showing up in a big way here on Championship Sunday. You'll see number 13 out on the edge, the senior, come back to the ball, and all of a sudden he sees that end zone. He decides, I will not be denied. Number 13, get you some right there to take that 2-score lead for Mount St. Michael.
And O'Connor back in now for the PAT. Cabrera is the long snapper, and Bustamante to hold. Low snap, and it goes off of the front line. It looked like the O-line there of Mount. So this is no good. And you can see it, right? We said low snap, and Bustamante tried to pick it back up. But again, it's the operation. That's what happened against Xaverian down in Aviator Sports Complex, and it happened here for Mount on this missed PAT.
Yeah, another huge special teams miscue, and you know, right now Mount's got to be feeling good, up by 10. But any coach will tell you the difference between a 10-point lead and an 11-point lead can be a pretty big one. So Mount's going to hope they don't come back to regret that one. But nonetheless, really nice play right there by Nelson Perez. He's a guy who's a senior, been working so hard within this program for years, from the Bronx, so got to feel good doing it in his backyard. That's one he'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, good-looking crowd here for a Saturday morning. It was overcast when we arrived, but the sun now, as you can see, covering the field here, and it's got to feel nice for those in the crowd as well. Big Mount St. Michael crowd for sure. Drosos recovers that kick at the 18. Big return to the 40 for Spiros.
And, you know, much needed little injection of life here for Xaverian by that return from Drosos. You're starting out on the 40-yard line, so in prime position to kind of move down and tighten this thing up before halftime.
Big drive right now for the Clippers.
Absolutely. You could definitely hear from this grandstand the Mount St. Michael faithful getting into it, getting rowdy. And I'm sure the Clippers offense would love to do nothing more than silence them.
Van Ooyen fakes the handoff. That's incomplete. Hernandez was the intended target.
Incomplete. 2nd and
Going into this game, I think we knew that Xaverian was going to lean on the passing game. They've thrown the ball with Van Ooyen already 191 times going into today. But that's definitely been kind of a hallmark of their offense today. They're throwing the ball on first down, something you don't see a lot of high schools do, and really just trusting the junior signal caller.
And Van Ooyen, as you would expect from a first-year starting QB, as Hernandez gets the end around. Look at this. Hernandez, he's your speed guy, finally pushed out of bounds by Kadane Joseph. But that's what you get, man. You get a guy like that into space, and he can make special things happen.
No doubt. We've seen Van Ooyen try and target Hernandez through the air, but right here you'll see him on the end around. He's a fast twitch guy, kind of a game breaker when he gets out into open space. So just exactly what the Xaverian O needed to kind of reclaim a little bit of momentum here in this second quarter.
So Xaverian on the 35-yard line. Hernandez looks that way again. Van Ooyen, though, is eaten up by the Mount defense.
A lot of big boys in there, starting with number 51, Zaire Caldwell. If I've called his name once, I've called it 10 times. He's 6 foot 230 and just an absolute monster up front for that Mount St. Michael D.
Yeah, 2-year starter on the offensive line, or the defensive line, is Caldwell, also now on the offensive line as well. So it was a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Drosos motions to the left side. Duffy goes to Van Ooyen's right hip. Trips left. And no one at the bottom of the screen right now for Xaverian. So we know where Van Ooyen's looking. He goes that way. What a catch by Conti. Ranged all the way up. And Conti needed all of that 5'11" frame to pull it down.
Yeah, Owen Conti, he's a really good athlete. He's a great surfer. He's a lifeguard. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. He'd also get up there and make a great play on second down to make this a third and manageable for his Clippers offense. You'll see right here, number 2, Owen Conti just goes up, high points that one. Really nice job.
Conti was hanging 10 there. Duffy going nowhere. Shaw, the first that looked like in there, and then a few of his guys came in to help.
Yeah, look at Jonathan O2 also in there, but it really is amazing watching this Mount St. Michael defense, how fast you see that secondary flying in and making plays in the running game. Now it looks like it's going to be a 4th and 4, and the offense is staying on the field for Xaverian.
Yeah, here we go. Trips right now for the Clippers. Van Ooyen goes over the middle, and he overthrows his intended target. So a turnover on downs for the Clippers.
And this Mount defense is playing nearly flawless football right now. So solid in the secondary all day long against this vaunted Xaverian attack. And really so far, the only points they've given up come directly off of a turnover. So nearly flawless for Mount St. Michael.
And Pat, if you're Mario Valentini and his staff, and there's a good look at Mario, you feel like this is a great chance for you, right? Like, you've just scored a couple times. If you can get this ball in the end zone before halftime, maybe take a 20-3 lead at the break, that's going to feel pretty good.
Yeah, and don't forget Mount's going to get the ball to start the second half, so a huge opportunity to just kind of keep piling on and maybe even put this one away before they go in for halftime. So Coach Valentini got to be stressing to his senior signal caller what a huge opportunity this is right here.
So Mount, momentum squarely on their side. Pearson hands off on first down. And again, going nowhere up the middle. Both front lines on both teams, man, they are stout up front. It was Shaw, the ball carrier.
And really, all day I've been so impressed by Michael Blackwell, number 17, who made another play off the edge for this Xaverian D. He's 6'2", 210 pounds, just an absolute prototype there, and just played some really smart football. It's almost like he knows where it's going sometimes before the ball's even snapped.
So 2nd and 11 after that loss of 1. Pearson, quick out, complete. Finds his man on that left side, and it was Max Ferrin, number 11. Had a big catch of his own in the semifinal win against Kennedy Catholic.
Yeah, nice job here by Pearson, delivering a good ball into the zone. This has to be a strike because you got a lot of defenders in the area for Xaverian, but Ball's right on target. Nice job by Farron holding it in.
Hey, reception number 2 of the season. He's a playoff performer.
Oh, yeah.
3rd and 2 for the Mount. It's an option left. And there's Bobay into the secondary. Another big run by the little big man.
Bobay is just such a luxury to have on the offensive side of the football. He's not even your first running back, but boy, is he talented when he gets the ball into his hands. So you'll see them kind of with the little fake there, flip it out to Bobay. He gets some daylight, and he's going to maximize that like he has his whole career, the senior running back from Yonkers.
And Perez, 13, looked like he had a nice block up field as well to allow a few extra yards for Bobay, who's seemingly just made big plays here this afternoon, or this morning still. I think we're nearly afternoon at this point. And that, an out route, and it's Xavierian Pearson, 17. First time we've called his name. The 6-foot senior from the Bronx will move the chains. Actually, no, sorry, he's short a few yards.
Mount's really starting to churn and burn on the offensive side of the ball. We mentioned going into this game that balance was going to be a really key element for them, and they're really finding that balance here in this second quarter between the passing game and the running game, both been effective on this drive.
So 2nd and 3 for the Mountaineers. Pearson looking deep, turning, making the catch. What a terrific catch by Perez. And he's down at the 4.
Nelson Perez fighting back for this one. Contested ball, and the senior is just going to go up and get it. Can't deliver a better pass here if you're number 5, Mark Pearson, right in the bread basket. And then Perez, go get that one, setting his offense up inside the 5-yard line.
He is lucky, number 13, Nelson Perez, another big catch. Remember last year you had Jabril Carter. What a speedster he was for the Mount. Perez doesn't have that same speed. Few do, but still a game changer. Shaw ranges and dives and reaches and gets the end zone. Touchdown for Mount, a 4-yard touchdown run from Shaw, his 2nd rushing touchdown of this game.
Yeah, Carl Shaw with his 14th on the year right here. You'll see the junior just lower his shoulder, run through an arm tackle, and won't be denied that close to the end zone to give Mount a 3-score lead here as we approach halftime.
And O'Connor's PAT is no good. Off the upright.
Dylan, I spoke too soon. Because of that costly missed kick as well as the missed PAT, it's still a 2-score ball game.
19-3 with 1:32 left. A rich footballing history at Mount St. Michael. We'll take a look a little bit at their history. First year of football back in 1930. See the 3 AAA winners, 92, 96, and 97. In 92, they beat St. Francis Prep. They went back-to-back beating St. Anthony's. That 2009 championship, that's where that picture is from, and we credit the New York Post for that one. That was against Cardinal Hayes. That was on Thanksgiving Day, a Turkey Bowl special, 28-22, that win for the Mount over Hayes. What a special day that was up at the Mount for those guys.
You know, crazy here in Coach Valentini's last year that we could possibly see a Turkey Bowl rematch with a couple of champions in it. Hayes going for that AAA title game later on today. Mount here in this AA-2 title game.
And O'Connor booms his kickoff into the end zone. Great job by him. It's interesting, too, because he wasn't there for last week's semifinal game, O'Connor. He was on the soccer pitch, or the football pitch, if you will, leading the Mountaineers to the Catholic Soccer Championship. So he was missed, and Valentini said, listen, you know, we had to make adjustments. We just went for 2. We didn't have the kicker there, and O'Connor back looking to go 2 championships perhaps in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of person to go back and forth between football and soccer. My broadcast partner, Dylan Butler, does it with ease, but most can't, so shout out to him. Going for a big accomplishment.
So Xaverian A little bit tough sledding here now in the final 132 of the first half. They would feel so much better if they can get into the end zone here before the halftime break. Van Ooyen hands off on first down. It's Duffy cutting inside and getting, it looks like 6 on first down. Again, tough running by Chris Duffy, excuse me.
Duffy does a really nice job running behind Matthew Ferris, their senior captain guard, who was pulling on that play, created a nice lane up the middle.
Van Ooyen, the short out, trying to find Donato, but that one was a little bit short.
And it's tough, the way that this Xaverian offense is kind of set up, they rely on connecting those quick hitters routinely in order to kind of move the chain. So when those 4, 5, 6-yard passes aren't clicking like they usually do, really, really hard to get any consistency and momentum on offense.
And now all of a sudden you're facing a 3rd and 4, right? So you need to move the chains here. Trips right. Conti, though, motions now to the left. Van Ooyen flushed out, and he'll just bounce it to Drosos. And that's a little bit of what we've seen from Van Ooyen this year. Again, first-year starter, right? And you get those ups and downs from your quarterback.
Looks like there might be a flag on this play right here, but really the approach from this Mount St. Michael defense has been, as of late, to kind of just drop 8 in those obvious passing scenarios and make Van Ooyen just go through his reads, go through his progressions. Right there, too much going on in the backfield, just kind of throws it away.
So that was declined, and Hayes is back to punt. Deep for the Mount is Bustamante and Perez. And they both actually move up now to about their own 30, or just inside their own, or excuse me, at the 50.
An opportunity here for Mount to put an exclamation point on this first half.
It will not be fielded. It did take a bounce to the 50, so whoever positioned them there, that was great. A great job. Kind of like the baseball coach, right? Like shading his outfield exactly where it needed to be. As you see, Tommy McMorrow, 41, there, downing that football.
Yeah,
take a look at Xaverian's schedule this year and how the Clippers got here, and a tough loss to a really good Lehigh team. Really, they're kind of that AAA caliber type of team this year. Kennedy Catholic, a quality win on a very, very long road trip from Bay Ridge up to Somers. Then the win over Cross. The toughest loss of the year came to that crazy single wing of the Chris Stevens special there with Xavier. You bounce back against St. Francis. Again, that 1-point loss to Mount. Tough loss to St. John the Baptist, a team that we'll see here. And then you beat Spelman, and you go overtime to beat Holy Cross to get here.
Yeah, Coach Fontaine is telling us he got a lot of congratulatory remarks going into this game, and he didn't want to hear them, right?
No.
He said this is kind of where we belong, where we think we should be every year.
Yeah, he said save those for after Saturday, as it's a timeout by the Mount after Pearson slid for a couple of yards. But yeah, that's what he said. He heard a lot about, hey, congratulations on getting there. That's so great. That's awesome. He said we didn't do anything, right? We expected to be in this game. Xaverian did, and they are. A year ago, they lost to Mount in the semifinals, so they were so close to being in this one. And you see in the top left of your screen, you can hit that QR code to follow us on our social media handles at Varsity Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But they're not going to be that AAA team they once were. You go back maybe a decade or so ago, and you had the likes of LeRae Smith, who went on and played at Indiana, and Zach Carney at QB, and they had a ton of speedsters on that team, and they were a AAA team. They were battling the likes of St. Anthony's and Stepanek. I think they actually made the AAA semifinals, losing at Stepanek in overtime. They were that close to making the AAA championship. Some lean years that followed, and Kevin Fontaine said, listen, the culture wasn't great, right? So that's another part of what he's trying to do, is build up the culture. And that's one of the reasons he said that. He goes, we're not to be congratulated for getting somewhere we thought we should be.
Yeah, and in Coach Fontaine's eyes, he's had a lot of success throughout his coaching career. Some time at the college level, obviously some great years at Poly Prep as well. So he's got sky-high expectations for these guys, and he holds them he holds his players to those expectations every single day. So really just starting to materialize in year 2 here at Xaverian, but I think he's got some high hopes for what the future is going to hold for this Clipper program.
And another timeout for the Mounts. And then he was part of Dino Mangiero's coaching staff as an assistant at Poly. Man, they were some special dudes. We said it off air before, but it was really funny because Poly would always have like a roster of 18 or something right there. There wouldn't be a lot of guys there, but the guys they had were all high-level football guys. You go back a few years, Jay Hayes, terrific defensive player, went on, played it at Notre Dame, just one of many for Poly Prep.
Isaiah Wilson was a first-round draft pick with the Tennessee Titans after a great career at Georgia. I've got to give a shout-out to a good personal friend of mine, Brendan Femiano, who had a great career as a running back at Bryant after his time with Coach Fontaine at Poly Prep.
And look at the coaching staff, too, that Fontaine. This is like a who's who of Brooklyn beasts, man. You've got your assistant coach is Mike Camardis, right? Remember him? Former Canarsie head coach. He's the O-line coach. Maurice Jones, a former Poly assistant. He's the OC. How about Leon Williams? Remember Leon, right? Canarsie, Miami, the NFL. Yeah. He's leading the charge defensively for this group.
Leon, great linebacker with the Washington football team, so to speak, back in the day.
But what a beast he was for Canarsie, man, when Canarsie was really humming under Camardis' leadership. They were always a tough team to beat.
Leon was actually the honorary captain of Team New York City a few years back in the
nice.
Boomer game when I was honorary captain of Team Long Island. So shout out to him, working hard on the sidelines over there for Xaverian.
And it looks like Mount won't even try to go for an extra play. That'll do it for the half. They did their work, certainly, on both sides of the football. They've got a deserved 19-3 lead at the break, trying to win one final championship for head coach Mario Valentini. Mount goes into half leading 19-3. You're watching the AA-2 championship game presented by Catholic Health and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Looking to grow your business on social media? Let Varsity Media help you. With over 50,000 followers across our platform, sponsor a segment during the broadcast and share it on social media the next day. It's the best of both worlds, as you'll get thousands of plays and your ad will live on the broadcast forever. Contact us today for sponsorship packages by calling 917-470-0864 or emailing varsitymediasponsors@gmail.com.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
Inside the 10 to the end zone.
Oh, he's got a wide open receiver. A.J. Duff. Get out of the way! Dante Torres!
End zone. Touchdown. 10-5 touchdown.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media. Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Looking to grow your business on social media? Let Varsity Media help you. With over 50,000 followers across our platform, sponsor a segment during the broadcast and share it on social media the next day. It's the best of both worlds, as you'll get thousands of plays and your ad will live on the broadcast forever. Contact us today for sponsorship packages by calling 917-470-0864 or emailing varsitymediasponsors@gmail.com.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
Inside the 10 to the end zone.
Oh, he's got a wide open receiver. AJ Duff. Get out of the way! Dante Torres! End zone. Touchdown.
10-5 touchdown.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media. Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Looking to grow your business on social media? Let Varsity Media help you. With over 50,000 followers across our platform, sponsor a segment during the broadcast and share it on social media the next day. It's the best of both worlds, as you'll get thousands of plays and your ad will live on the broadcast forever. Contact us today for sponsorship packages by calling 917-470-0864 or emailing varsitymediasponsors@gmail.com.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
Inside the 10 to the end zone.
Oh, he's got a wide open receiver. AJ Duff. Get out of the way! Dante Torres! The end zone. Touchdown.
10-5 touchdown.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media. Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
And we welcome you back to Moglia Stadium here on the campus of Fordham University. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey, the entire Varsity Media crew. It's halftime of the AA-2 championship game, and the Mount, after falling behind 3-0, have scored 19 unanswered points, and they've got a nice cushion here at halftime.
Yeah, Mount St. Michael obviously has a lot to play for here in their own backyard in the Bronx. Coach Valentini ending an illustrious career, hopefully on a high note here in this AA-2 title game, but that won't come easy as Xaverian still within 2 scores and looking to fight back here in the second half.
Let's show you how some of that scoring happened in the first half. Down 3-0, there goes Shaw, just lowering the shoulder. Carl Shaw getting that one hard yard that he needed. The PAT was good by O'Connor, and that gave the Mount a 7-3 lead.
Yeah, Carl Shaw is a guy who's just had a nose for the end zone all year long. None different today with already a couple of scores and just a physical presence out there.
And here Mark Pearson will find Perez, Nelson Perez. I think he's at the bottom of your screen. Yep, there he is. The out route, breaks the tackle, and it's into the end zone. 18-yard touchdown reception by Perez. The PAT was no good. That made it 13-3 Mount with 5:42 left in the second quarter.
Yeah, Nelson Perez, a guy who's riding a lot of momentum, coming off an amazing game against Kennedy Catholic and keeping that going here in this AA-2 title game. Huge play to move that one down and give them that next score.
And then Pat Carl Shaw said, I had so much fun finding the end zone the first time. Let's do it again. And again, lowers his shoulder, carries a Xaverian defender with him into the end zone. That was a 4-yard touchdown run, and that made it 19-3 for the Mount.
I think coming into this game, we knew that Mount St. Michael was going to present some problems in the trenches for Xaverian, and that's really played out. Mount just playing some hard-nosed football, especially on the defensive side of the field, and they're really going to look to keep that going in the second half as they hope to put the ice on Coach Mario Valentini's incredible career.
Pat, you've been on both sides of this in your career. The Xaverian guys, as they make their way onto the field now from the locker room, what's a little bit of the message? I'd imagine part of it is you can't get 16 points back on one play, right? So you have to put the hammer and start to chisel away.
Exactly. It's got to be one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor, as they say. They've struggled connecting on some of those easier passing plays that throughout the course of this season have been kind of like clockwork. So I think really coming out the gates here, you want to start off, get a defensive stop, and then on the offensive side of the ball, rely on Van Ooyen to kind of hit those receivers that have been reliable all year, find a little bit of rhythm, and see if you can get on the scoreboard again to pull this one into a one-touchdown game.
As we mentioned, the first of 3 championship broadcasts here on Championship Saturday from Fordham University. We'll have more Catholic and St. John the Baptist in the AA-1 championship game. And that will be followed by Iona Prep and Cardinal Hayes. The AAA championship, the much anticipated AAA championship, that one will be under the lights here in the Bronx at around 6 o'clock here this evening.
Coach Spags kind of taking up a residency in that AAA title game over the course of the last couple years, so they're excited to be competing for another title. And then on the flip side, C.J. O'Neill, hard to say enough about what he's done with that program through the years, back in this AAA title game for the first time since 2019, and they got to be really pumped up to just be making the short trip up here to Rose Hill.
Yeah, as we mentioned at the start of this one, Mitchell Athletic Complex has been for many years the home of kind of that central point, right? Kind of you're on the island, you can get from Westchester and get around, and again, the city options are so rare, right, these days. You don't have St. John's anymore as that option, which was for so many years the home of the Catholic Championship games. So, it's a different location, but I think if it's so, this one is a perfect venue, certainly when you consider, the trip, right? Mount is right here. The storylines with Mario Valentini's last championship game, and then, of course, in the AAA championship game, you want, if you're among the brain trust of the Catholic Football League, you want a good gate, right? Let's be honest, right? You want to get as many butts in the seats as you can, and that one could fill this place between Hayes and Iona Prep.
Yeah, this is such a special venue. It's so hard to find quality football venues within the 5 boroughs. Everybody knows New York City's strapped for space, but up here at Rose Hill, you really get a sanctuary for these Catholic title games here today. I'm expecting a packed house for that 6 o'clock game. Should be a lot of fun, but got to feel good for these guys from Mount St. Michael, too, to have their friends and family nearby and all up in the stands.
In our conversation with Spags, Joe Spagnuolo, the Iona Prep coach, said, listen, it's perfect. We'll have guys who, maybe get a late lunch up on Arthur Avenue, come here, and maybe some guys after. If you win the game, maybe they're going to Manhattan afterwards. And my only message to Spags at that point was, if you know someone going to Arthur Avenue in the afternoon, please let us know. We'll put our order in.
Oh, that is absolutely welcome. The Varsity Media team loves some good, authentic Italian food that you can only find on the real Little Italy, as some New Yorkers will tell you, on Arthur Avenue.
That's got to be such a great recruiting tool, right? Like, we'll come onto our campus, look at this beautiful campus. You guys hungry, by the way? We'll go to Arthur Avenue, short trip away here from the Rose Hill campus. So here we go, set to start the second half, and it's Mount ball. So part of that message for the Clippers is let's get a 3-and-out right away. Let's establish ourselves again defensively. It's going to be so important for them to stop this Mount train. It's a nice kickoff to start things, backed up to about the 15-yard line. And the Mounts will get their offense going here. And Mark Pearson, their QB, did a really good job in that first half. Again, that dual option QB, right, is thrown for 775 yards and 5 touchdowns against just 1 interception heading into this one. 32 carries for 73 yards and a pair of scores as well.
Yeah, he's a guy who can kind of do a little bit of everything. He's been managing a really nice balanced attack here throughout that first half. And going to look to him to kind of lean on some of that championship game experience as they hope to close out this AA-2 title.
Well, they are at their own 28-yard line. There goes Shaw, bursting forward. Big gain on first down for Carl Shaw.
Exactly how you want to get out of the gates for Mount. You've been dominant at the line of scrimmage so far here today, so leaning on that run game is going to be a recipe for success. Here they get out the gates with Carl Shaw, running with some physicality for the 8-yard gain.
Well, actually, we'll give it 10. He got the extra couple there, pulling a couple of Xaverian defenders with him. So Shaw moves the chains on his first carry of the second half. His second carry goes up the middle, and it's a big burst as well, right towards that block F in the midfield.
Mentioned it a couple times in the first half, but here Mount going back to the same well that was working. Love that mirroring play call. And when Carl Shaw is running the ball as he is right now, why not keep feeding the beast?
And you got to credit, right, the guys up front as well. It's Purovic at left tackle, Martinez at left guard, Williams at center, Caldwell at right guard, and Lacasse at right tackle. Really getting a nice push from those guys, opening up holes for Shaw. So those gains of 1 and 2 in the first half are now 8 and 9 at a clip. Shaw this time, though, on the toss was knocked back, and Tommy McMorrow making a big play for the Clippers.
Yeah, Tommy McMorrow, one of our players to watch going into this game, and does a really nice job flying off the edge, making that tackle in the open field, getting Mount stop on the chance.
If you're just a general football fan, and many of us are, get to that in a moment. As Shaw high steps it, dives forward, looking like he was going into the end zone there as he was trying to get those 2 yards he needed. Are we moving the chains just yet? Yes, referee Peter Jackson says, but was about to mention a score from out at Stony Brook's Laval Stadium. 7-7 between West Islip and North Babylon. That is the Suffolk 2 championship game.
A couple of hard-nosed programs out there. North Babylon so happy to be back in title contention out in Suffolk.
What a big run on first down, as it feels like anybody that Mount gives to touch the ball will do it. This one was 0-2 the guy bursting up the middle.
O2, we've been calling his name a lot, especially on the defensive side of the football today, but also a guy who's a capable runner with almost 300 yards of production on the ground so far this year. So a lot of different options for Coach Valentini to spread this ball out on the offensive side of the ball.
I don't have the official numbers in front of me, but it feels like there's like 20 championship meetings between West Islip and North Babylon throughout the years. They always seem to find each other at Stony Brook. And look at this, finding a first down, twisting his way there was O2 again. And you're right, it feels like this is like, you know, you go to the well again, and you go to the well again, and now you know what? You get a rest, and we bring in the next guy.
Exactly. This is really how coaches draw it up in their heads, and they're thinking about what it means to establish the running game. All first half, they're running with limited success at times, but now you get out here in the second half, you've worn out that Clipper D a little bit, and those 2-yard gains turn into 10-yard chunks.
And the running game also means running the clock, right? So important when you have a lead in the third quarter of a championship game. So we'll go back there again. And look at this angled run, and a good one. And again, it's O2.
On this one, O2 finally pushed out of bounds by Tristan Gallagher. But boy, we're seeing what he can do when he gets the ball in his hands. Just a weapon out there from Mount St. Michael.
And now O2 gets a rest, and we'll give Bobay a shot.
All right, so the third-headed is three-headed monster. Feels like back in the day when you're watching the Giants with Earth, Wind, and Fire. You got to give props to that Mount offensive line, just opening up holes no matter who's back there.
1st and 10 from the 16. Here's Bobay, takes a stutter step and a short gain at that. Looked like big 75 Matthew Ferris making the tackle.
Yeah, really nice play here by Ferris, and Xaverian is going to need that interior defensive line to step up in a big way throughout the rest of this game, as Mount is going to be leaning more and more into their running game.
Of course, in addition to those games in Stony Brook, we've also got on the Varsity Media Sports Network the Nassau Championships. We were there at Stewart Stadium at Hofstra last night for Massapequa and Southside winning county titles, and today it's Conference 2 and 4 with their opportunities. And there's Bobay pushing forward, getting to the 10-yard line. What a burst by Bobay.
Yeah, Bobay really can hit the hole hard. And it's pretty easy when you're going behind the likes of Zaire Caldwell and Isaiah Lucas. Doing a really good job there on the right side of the offensive line, kind of collapsing things down, making a nice edge for him, and Bobay burst forward for that 7-yard gain.
Yeah, Lacasse, especially at right tackle, he's your 2-year starter, so he's got a lot of experience on both ends, and it's super important, right? With Pirovic at left tackle and Lacasse at right tackle, that's where your experience comes in on this line.
Both guys kind of prototypes. Pirovic 6'4", 290, Lacasse 6'3", 285.
Toss to Shaw, looking for blockers. Whoa, he is hammered. 22 brings the wood. Duffy, torn labrum and all.
Chris Duffy just showing you a little bit of his heart out there. We've been raving about his play on the opposite side of the ball here on defense. Comes through and lays the wood on a key third down scenario. Number 22, boom! Carl Shaw is going to feel that tomorrow morning.
So decision time here for the Mounts. O'Connor hasn't had success going towards this end zone, kicking field goals or even point afters for that matter. So we'll go for it here on 4th down. 4th and 6 for the Mount. Pearson under center, fakes the handoff. Look out! Batted down. Terrific defensive play by Big 99. Jaden Cadat makes the defensive play, and Xaverian gets the stop.
And Jaden Cadat is a guy still coming into his own, the junior from Brooklyn off the edge. You'll see him get up here like J.J. Watt wearing number 99, and he's a guy with a real bright future in front of him. His coach said he could see him playing Ivy in a couple years, but Cadat with a huge stop to give the ball back to the Xaverian O.
A really good student, basketball player as well, 6'2", 210. Just now, Pat starting to fill out his body, so that's why there's some excitement about his future, possibly in the Ivies. They're going to go for it on first down, and Owen Conti just missed the long ball by Van Ooyen.
That one's got to hurt. I think Jude Van Ooyen realizes that one got away from him. But, when you're playing championship football, you get those couple opportunities to really have an explosive play. You got to connect right there just beyond the outstretched hands of Owen Conti.
Like the idea there on first down, right? You just got to stop. Let's maybe go for the jugular. Let's get a big play after a big play. But now it's important to move the football and move the chains here for the Clippers. Van Ooyen, quick out, finds Drosos, cuts it inside, and Shaw meets him and pushes him back down at about the 17.
Yeah, it looks like Shaw and Marquise Dixon flying to the ball here. This is a really good job by Mount St. Michael of just getting a ton of hats to the ball. Little screen type play. You really just got to be aggressive there on defense. Great execution.
3rd and 5 for the Clippers. It's trips left, empty on this side of the field. Van Ooyen over the middle, had a couple of intended receivers, and that's complete to move the chains. 2 guys went for it, and number 2 is the one who picked it up, Owen Conti.
Yeah, so Conti, after narrowly missing a big home run on that first down play, able to bail out Van Ooyen here on 3rd down. A couple of receivers in the area, comes back to the ball, and that's a huge play to move the chains for this Clipper O.
He rode that wave to a first down. Boom. There he goes again, this one in and out of his hands. I think Shaw had a piece of that, or certainly got into the hands of Conti.
Yeah, we mentioned it before, but Mount St. Michael, a little bit of an outlier at the high school level in the fact that they play with a ton of defensive backs, oftentimes 5, even 6 defensive backs out there. All those guys have themselves a great day today. Shaw, the beneficiary.
Yeah, I think you roll with what you have, right? What's in your roster, and they've got a lot of smaller, more athletic guys. So yeah, let's get more in the secondary. As Van Ooyen does a good job ducking under pressure, and now he's got to tuck it under and dives forward, and that's some of that toughness that's maybe not known for his neighborhood, right? Park Slope, but he brings it anyway.
I'm sure when Jude Van Ooyen is talking to people, he doesn't mention he's from Park Slope. He's from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, that's it.
Toughness
that's it.
And bring it to the table right there, setting up a 3rd manageable.
He's screaming, "Where Brooklyn at?" Right? But so 3rd down for the Clippers, 3rd and 3. Van Ooyen, pressure comes his way, ducks under it again, tucks it under, looking for options, tries to push that football forward, but he'll be about a yard shy of that first down marker.
That's a tough one. It looked like Van Ooyen realized at the very last second that he's got a little bit further to go to move the chains. That lack of awareness leads him out of bounds, just a little bit short. Sets up a 4th and 1 for the Xaverian offense.
And they will go. Under center is Van Ooyen. Oh, look out. And it's a false start against Xaverian.
That looked to me to be a snap infraction by Parada. It's tough as a center. Sometimes that hard count, you're all geared up to fire off. He wasn't supposed to snap the ball. He did. Obviously not an ideal scenario for any center.
And it will take you out of, and there you see it.
Yeah, kind of snapped it, realized, wasn't supposed to go on one right there. I've been there before, Mateo. It's not fun, but it's all right. Keep your head up. A lot of football to be played.
So this changes now the option, right? So we'll go to punt the football with Timmy Hayes to do so. Anthony Farina is your long snapper. Deep for the Mount is Bustamante and Perez.
Bustamante, Perez, deep for the Mount.
Bustamante, we called his name a lot today, and Xaverian's got to make sure they get enough numbers onto the field.
Bustamante already with a takeaway here today, so looking to maybe contribute on the special team side of the ball.
Snap is good. Hayes gets his kickoff. It's end over end, and it's fielded by Perez. He'll reverse course. And he'll do it again, coming back the initial way. And a good job tackling number 5, Timmy Hayes. So your punter comes downfield, makes the big tackle as Mount will take over. Let's get to know Nico Bustamante a little bit from the Mounts. Favorite movie quote? Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Love it from Nico.
Timely.
Kevin Hart, Anna de Armas, and Chris Evans. He actually wanted to. That was his original. We didn't update that. He's a big Jets fan, so he's like, well, hang on. I want Sauce. I want Rodgers. And the actor to play him in a film, Ashton Kutcher. He said he's been told he looks like him a little bit.
Wow, that's a bit of a perhaps confident statement, saying you hear Ashton Kutcher. I usually hear some combo between Leonardo DiCaprio and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So.
Sure, of course. Of course.
But very nice. And Bustamante having a great day out here today in this AA-2 title game, having some fun, flying around in all 3 elements of the game.
Pearson back to pass. Look at all the time for Pearson. Surveys the field, gets it off, and a completion to Perez. How many checks did he have to make or have time to make?
Super impressive. Pearson's a guy who's really been called on to manage a running game for a lot of this year, but here you see why he's such a dangerous passer. It looks like he gets to his 4th progression on this play. Most high school guys are not doing that from the quarterback position. Really, really impressive on first down.
So the 3 that, just to clarify, right, for Nico's sake, it was Aaron Rodgers, it was Sauce, and it was Kevin Hart. That was his trio for dinner.
That sounds like a fun dinner.
Right?
Love to crash.
So 1st and 10 for the Mounts. Pearson, again, plenty of time. Finds a man, but just misses Shaw. If he was a little bit more accurate, man, Shaw's going to the end zone.
Yeah, that's a tough one. If you're Mark Pearson right here, you just got to put some air under that ball. You got nobody in the vicinity of Carl Shaw.
Yeah, lead your receiver, right?
Put it up there, make it easy on him. There, gets a little bit too cute with it. Not able to connect, and that's one he might regret tomorrow.
So 2nd and 10 for the Mountaineers.
Yeah. The Mountaineers coming out passing on this drive so far. Had a ton of success on the ground.
That's that balanced offense they were talking about they wanted to get, right? Where too often this year it was one or the other. Pearson chased down. And this one, again, a little bit low for Perez. Good pursuit by big number 99, Jaden Cadotte.
I thought Nelson Perez could have gotten this one. That's a tough ball to deliver for Mark Pearson as you're getting chased, thrown against your body. But sets up a 3rd and 10, and this is exactly what you're looking for if you're Xaverian. About 3 minutes left in this 3rd quarter, so the clock is not quite an issue yet, but is soon to become an issue. And every time that Mount stops that clock, gives you an opportunity to get off the field. That's great news if you're a Clippers fan.
And 2:46 left in this 3rd quarter. 19-3, so it's a scoreless 3rd quarter, which is just fine for the Mount. Pearson, now the pressure comes, finds a reliable receiver in O2, cuts it up the field. Jonathan O2 still on his feet. O2 rumbles inside the 5.
And I absolutely love this play call by Mario Valentini's offense. You see Xaverian pinning their ears back, ready to send a full-out blitz on 3rd and 10. So what do? You dial up the screen. Xaverian gets out in front of their britches. Nobody accounting for A-2, and forget about it. Number 4 piling his way all the way down inside the 5-yard line to set up what they'll hope will be another touchdown for Mount St. Michael.
This, at least in the first half, was Carl Shaw territory, right? 2 short touchdown runs of 1 and 4 yards, but you've got 2 backs there, and Shaw not one of them right now in the backfield. Bobay is, and Shaw turns and gets in the end zone. So I should have trusted myself in the first place. This is Shaw's real estate. The end zone, his 3rd short rushing touchdown, and he extends Mount's lead.
Carl Shaw with the hat trick on the day, and nothing fancy here out of that H-back position. Just going to line up, run A-gap, lower his shoulder, and drag a couple Xaverian defenders over the goal line. A huge score to bring them out by 3.
And it looks like now the Mount will go for 2 to make up for some of those missed PATs. Going for the jugular here. The pitch, and there is your conversion as AA-2 gets into the end zone.
And that really was everything that Mount St. Michael's offense aspires to be right there on that drive. Some great plays through the air, and then finishing it off with a couple on the ground. That 2-point conversion executed to perfection by Pearson.
2 minutes left in the third quarter as Mount with a 27-3 lead. The job not quite done yet, Pat, but if you are a Mount fan, even if you're in the Mount sideline, you're starting to think of what a storybook moment this is for their longtime head coach, Mario Valentini. Again, bears repeating, this is his final season as head coach. 40th year, 45th overall, has just been a staple of this Mount St. Michael program. Longtime athletic director as well, stepping aside after this year. So what a way to finish for him by winning another championship. Again, a lot of football left to be played, but it is looking good right now as O'Connor, his end-over-end kick fielded by Drosos at the 15. Drosos has some room to move up this near sideline and finally tackled. Big return by Drosos.
Spiros Drosos has been dangerous in that return game all day long. Another really nice job here, giving his offense some good field position. As you see it right there on the replay, number 1 just finding that alleyway and really making Mount St. Michael's kickoff coverage unit pay. But yeah, Dylan, as you mentioned, Coach Valentini, so rarely do you get to see a storybook ending kind of come to fruition, but a real opportunity here. Just about a quarter and 2 minutes remaining in his championship coaching career.
Van Ooyen finds his target, going downfield to Hernandez, but there's a flag on the play. This will be against Mount, it looks like. It will be a face mask. Our referee, Peter Jackson. Let's see the call. The reaction, it looked like, from Mount, like they were upset about it, but perhaps they was just the play that they were referring to, and the penalty is against Xaverian.
And if that's the case, that's really the last thing you need right now. Coming out the gates with a really nice pass to Antonio Hernandez. It looks like this one's going to wind up coming back, but at least a sign of some good things to come if you're a Clippers fan. Positive movement on offense, but this one's going to get called back, putting them 1st and 25.
And those are just devastating, momentum-killing penalties.
1st and 25.
Yeah, it's been hard enough to move the ball on the offensive side of the ball for Xaverian. The last thing you really need is those 15-yard self-inflicted penalties. But here you are.
Yeah, 1st and 25 now inside the final minute and a half of the third quarter. Van Ooyen, and that's an incompleted pass. Drosos was the intended receiver.
Those are the kind of run-of-the-mill type plays that usually Jude Van Ooyen connects with ease. Today, just not quite going right for them out there. And that's kind of been the difference. Easier said than done to complete those passes against a defensive backfield, the likes of Mount St. Michael.
Again, you don't have to make up all 25 yards here, right? If you're Xaverian. Van Ooyen back to pass, goes over the middle. What a ranging catch into a double team. Conti, though, was stripped. And we go the other way. D'Angelo Cabrera, touchdown.
What a huge play. Add an insult to injury on the Xaverian side. D'Angelo Cabrera, the senior from Mount, with the big strip right here. As you see this replay, Owen Conti is going to catch the ball, just fighting for some extra yardage here. And that strip comes in by number 2, D'Angelo Cabrera.
Give me that.
Give me that. Great job. And all of a sudden you're looking at a 33-3 lead. What has become a blowout in this AA-2 title game.
Cabrera, the 35-yard strip and score. And now O'Connor back in to attempt the PAT. It's Cabrera, the long snapper, and Bustamante to hold.
Cabrera's got to catch his breath and deliver a good snapback here.
And again, this is college goalposts, so they're tighter here. It's not quite as wide on the high school side, but O'Connor, no problem there to convert for the Mount. But hold the phone. Flag.
We'll see what this flag is, but I gotta say,
I think it's going to be assessed on the kickoff.
Right now you can really hear the Mountaineer faithful getting into it. They're going wild on their home sideline right now. And this school's been waiting a long time for another title, since 2009, since their last AA title.
And there's a personal foul. I think that was against Mount, the way Peter Jackson was signaling. So it'll be assessed on the kickoff.
You know, the last thing you want to see in a game like this, 31-point differential, is any sort of extracurriculars becoming a factor. You know, both teams got a lot to be proud of getting to this point in the season. You want to make sure you go out on a high note from a sportsmanship perspective.
And there's Mario Valentini getting the explanation from the officials, so it'll be on the kickoff. And they'll move this football back or up. So was it against Xaverian? I guess it was against Xaverian.
You know, understandable. It's gotta hurt in that situation. You're trying to get something together on offense and wind up giving up a fumble. Gets taken back for a touchdown, but you know what? Just got to keep your head in there. Play with some character here.
And the officials still talking it over, just making sure that everybody was on the same page, as O'Connor will kick from the Xaverian 45-yard line.
Interested to see if they'll send it back to Spiros Drosos, who's had so much success in the return game for Xaverian.
They just put it into the end zone, right?
Yeah.
And O'Connor, end over ends. It's returned from the 1-yard line. But going nowhere. And the Mount defense and specials getting the job done. Conti, not much room to move for the Clippers.
A really nice play there by Nick Palmer, covering that kick and pinning Xaverian down deep. This is not an easy situation coming out from your own 7, following the fumble return for a touchdown.
Man, you see bottom of your screen, 1 minute left in this third quarter. Mount extending their lead to 34-3. It was 19-3 at the half. In fact, they trailed at one point 3-0. 34 unanswered points. Van Ooyen pump fakes it, and that pass is short. Was under pressure there with that pass right from his own 1.
Good look right there. Savion Pearson coming off the edge for Mount. Was so close to bringing down Van Ooyen for a safety. Fortunate to get that one away for the junior signal caller.
Good arm, Van Ooyen, and not afraid to take a hit, right? He'll lower the shoulder. We've seen that as well. And look at this big run. The handoff to Duffy. And he'll get out to about the 26-yard line to move the chains.
Yeah,
Duffy able to find a really nice crease there. That running game might be a little bit more open the rest of the way, considering this ditch that Xaverian's trying to dig out of.
Short pass. And my bad on the... Thought we moved the chains. No, we did. I'm looking at the stick on the far side. It has like 3rd down. I think they got to fix it. There we go.
2nd down, about 4 or so.
Yep, 2nd and 4. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Quick out. And there is Conti again. And Conti will move the chains.
Good to see Conti getting back into it. Sometimes it can be tough to regain your confidence after a tough play like he just had, but he keeps his head up, keeps those chains moving.
So let's see if they get one more play off in this 3rd quarter. And they will not be able to, but Mount St. Michael, they'll put the number 4 up on all of their hands on their sideline, signaling the 4th quarter, and they're 1 quarter away from another championship. 34-3 is the lead for Mount St. Michael. You're watching the New York Catholic High School Football League's AA-2 championship game presented by Catholic Health and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
We're back here on the campus of Fordham University. 4th quarter just beginning, and it's a long hill at Rose Hill to climb. But look at this. Oh, bobbling it in and out of the hands of Drosos. He's been so solid here today. And Drosos, I think, couldn't believe how wide open he was on that pass.
It's been that kind of day for Xaverian through 3 quarters. Really tough for Spiros Drosos, who's a guy who's normally so reliable with his hands. Here he has a couple steps, and I think you could already see the end zone. Tough one right there for Xaverian that's really been looking for a break.
2nd and 10 for the Clippers. Van Ooyen, interception at the 50.
That's Marquise Dixon right there. The senior.
He's still going.
A few times, still going right there. But just a really nice job by Dixon. He's going to be reading Van Ooyen's eyes the whole way through. Step in front of this pass, and exactly what you didn't want here. If you're a Clippers fan, as you'll see, Dixon sees those eyes the whole time. Bit of a fluttery ball and just steps up to bring that one back the other way, adding insult to injury and kind of a cherry on top for this Mount St. Michael defense.
It looks like our referee, Peter Jackson, will call a holding penalty against Xaverian. Of course, Mount will decline that as they are in terrific field position here to extend their lead even more.
Yeah, this has got to feel good. You know, Coach Valentini's been so focused all week at the task at hand, trying to take care of a really good Xaverian team, but you get the sense that now on the sideline, he's got to be soaking up a little bit of this. It's got to feel sweet.
Yeah, for sure. And remember, too, this is a Mount team, that suffered a loss in this game a year ago, a tough one as well, right? Where if you remember, you go back, Xavier with that big kick return late as Bobet pushes it forward.
3 minutes left in the game.
Exactly. So it was a heartbreaking loss for Mount, and so many of these guys were part of that. So that's one of the reasons why Mario Valentini said, listen, the focus isn't on me. It's on my guys and the unfinished business that we have collectively. And he said, look, I just want to get these guys that championship feeling, get them over the hump and have them feel good as others in the past have for the Mount.
Props to these guys. I can relate. My freshman year, 2015, we lost a heartbreaker in the national championship to Alabama, 45-40. A couple of kick returns were really the difference in that game. And I remember the next year coming back with just a fire in our bellies looking to get revenge. And, it's been that same sentiment all year long from Mount St. Michael, really manifesting itself out here on the field today with a dominant performance in this AA-2 title game, getting Mount back to where they really feel they should be in title contention every year.
Yeah, Mount St. Michael, we showed you before, their last championship was a Turkey Bowl win in 2009, beating Cardinal Hayes in what was then the AA, which was now AA-1. So they've made, before that also, 6 AAA championship appearances, going 3 for 3 or 3 and 3. Look at this. Bustamante, a little bit of trickery, and he's intercepted in the end zone as it was Conti to do so. Big play by Conti, and Pat, let's get to meet Conti a little bit. And I love, this is my favorite picture that we've shown on any of these get-to-knows. There he goes. Owen Conti, the Rockaway kid. Give him anything but cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving morning or afternoon, and he's happy. His favorite surfing, I thought he'd say something on Breezy, somewhere in the Rockaways. He's like, nah, Domes Beach in PR. That's where he wants to go, and he'll drive his 73 Ford Bronco there.
I wonder if he likes a white Ford Bronco, considering that's the color of Xaverian, but awesome from Owen Conti. Got to love that surfing. He's a dynamic guy, and got to feel good for him right there, bringing in that interception after what has been a little bit of a roller coaster of a morning for Xaverian.
So I thought it was in the end zone, but apparently it was shy of it, just shy of it. So Xaverian's got to start from their own 1 on this drive. So essentially that was like a punt for Mount, right? Like, let's get it to the 1. You've got to go 99 yards here.
Yeah, one of the most effective interceptions you'll ever seen as they pin Xaverian down at the 1-yard line. Got their work cut out for them, but one thing you got to respect about this Xaverian team is just kind of the heart, the stick-to-itiveness that they bring to the table. A lot of seniors on this team, but also a lot of strong junior talent, guys that are going to come back and probably build off of this into the offseason. So really an opportunity here as you finish off this 4th quarter to keep your head up and have some things to feel good about when you go home.
Xaverian with 2 championships to their name. Their most recent was in 2015, beating Cardinal Spellman 31-12 in the title game. Before that, you go to 2006, defeating Fordham Prep in what again was the AA, so the next level up, 49-27. Flags fly. There was some movement on the line, and it was against the defense encroachment.
Yeah, some much-needed breathing room for Jude Van Oyen and this Xaverian offense. Get them out to the 6-yard line. A little bit more room for Van Oyen to set his feet and try and deliver a strike.
Kevin Fontaine, the Xaverian coach, is not going his way right now, but has liked the way his defense has played all year. But there is a lack of depth up front, and maybe that materializes right in a game like this, especially against a really stout defensive front of Mount St. Michael as Donato makes the reception.
I know it's been a tough day for Jude Van Oyen back there, but got to like his ability to kind of keep fighting, keep his eyes downfield even when there's some pressure in his face. And right there doing a good job delivering a strike on the move to Christian Donato.
And they move the chains. So you get out of your own end zone now as you try to march towards the other one. Van Oyen, another quick out, diving attempt, and that was incomplete. Again, it was Donato trying to make that catch.
Yeah, that play kind of emblematic of some of the issues that Xaverian's experienced on offense today. It's a quick hitter, should be right there, and just a couple inches beyond the outstretched hands.
One of the things I wondered as we were coming here to a college football stadium was, would the shot or the play clock be utilized in this one? It's unlike at high school, right, or even at Mitchell Athletic Complex. You can see the clocks in both end zones to give the QB that opportunity to see it, but not utilized certainly here in this one.
Yeah, certainly got to be a little frustrating, because it would be nice, especially if you're Mount in this scenario, probably trying to milk the clock when you get back on offense, to see where you're at with that play clock. But despite the surroundings, Catholic League does not deploy that. Similar to how Varsity Media has quality images that could probably give replay review at some point in the future, but just not tenable right now.
Then Oin tried to go back across his body to find Donato. That incomplete, so the Clippers forced to punt deep in their own side of the field as Perez and Bustamante are out to field this punt. And once again, it's Timmy Hayes to do so, with Anthony Farina, your long snapper.
Perez and Bustamante, deep for Mount St. Michael.
The punt backs up Perez to the 45, tries to angle his way towards a sideline, and he's forced out.
There's another healthy return from Perez. Speaking of health, shout out to Catholic Health for sponsoring all these games out here today. They've been such a great partner with us all year long, and they go above and beyond trying to serve the New York community in everything that they do. So really appreciate their support throughout the whole year.
And Catholic Health, best in the biz, and it's just a perfect marriage, right? Covering the Catholic High School Football League, it should be Catholic Health as a title sponsor. So we do thank them for their sponsorship of high school athletics throughout the year. And listen, 9:17 left in the fourth. As my buddy Mike Quick likes to say, the hay is in the barn. And it's just a matter now of Mount managing the end of this game. Maybe you get another touchdown. You can certainly manage the clock. You want to run the football. You want that clock to wind down.
Yeah, Mount's had the advantage in the trenches all day long, so I expect them to lean heavily into their run game over this last 9 minutes of the ball game. But yeah, trying to put a little cherry on top of what's been a nearly flawless performance from them. I think going into today, we expected this Mount St. Michael team to have a really strong defense. That's kind of been a hallmark of them, but on the offensive side of the ball, really doing a lot of things well. Mark Pearson, so strong throughout the whole championship day.
And you got to think, too, the pressure was on the Mount, right? Coming into this one because of, what was at stake and wanting desperately to give your longtime head coach one last championship. So that's a lot of pressure to put on a bunch of these kids.
No doubt, especially considering, they're in their own backyard. I think you kind of sense some of that nervousness, that apprehension, the opening kind of couple of minutes for both of these teams. But Mount settled in really beautifully early on in this one, and it's kind of been all Mountaineers since then.
Another one of our sponsors is Speed Island. And as we have this opportunity, let's show you the Speed Island Speedy play of the game. And it's a different one. I like this idea because usually it's about a big run or a big reception. No, not today. It's about the big defensive play.
Yeah, this play by D'Angelo Cabrera, staying with it, fighting for that strip. And then once he is able to pry that ball loose, taking it 35 yards all the way for the touchdown. What a great play by the senior from the Bronx. And that really talks about, that's what Speed Island's all about, right? That fight, that will, and when you get that opportunity, making the most of it. So shout out to that 5'8" senior from the Bronx, D'Angelo Cabrera, having himself a great championship Saturday.
Yeah, located in Garden City. Improve your speed today with Onyx Salva and the crew at Speed Island.
Looks like we got a change on the quarterback side.
Matt Wood is in for Xaverian. So maybe you have some twos out there now, right? As one guy who's still in, although, yeah, there he is. There's Conti. He'll ride this wave right to the end.
You know, I'm sure if you're Xaverian, you didn't plan on having your twos in at this junction in the game, but it's so important to reward those guys who fight their tails off in practice all year long with some playing time. So an opportunity for some of those younger guys to step up and gain valuable experience.
How about that one, too? Wood, under pressure, finds Aiden Leary. And a big reception for Leary, the grandson of the late, great Tim Leary, longtime St. Francis Prep basketball coach.
Yeah, some Queens royalty out there is Aiden Leary. He's a guy who works his tail off all year long, so good to see him get rewarded with some targets, and a very dependable player out there on the edge throughout his Xaverian career.
Wood looks Leary's way again. That's incomplete. Leary, you know, listen, he might not be the biggest or the fastest, but has great football IQ, and you wonder, does that go down a couple of generations, right? Because he has that kind of a coach feel to him in his knowledge of the situations and gameplay, like his grandfather, Tim Leary, did for so many years on that St. Francis Prep side. Handoff up the middle. Nice push from the guys up front for Xaverian.
Good to see them still fighting. As you see, number 22, Chris Duffy, still out there. Torn labrum and all. He's going to have to get dragged off this field. He doesn't want to give up. You got to appreciate that will to win.
One thing that Xaverian has won as Wood rolls to the right, and that one off the hands of his intended target. Like that was Drosos. One thing they have won, apparently, that they've taken over from Xavier is the Battle of the Rockaways, right? So many years, Xavier has just filled their roster full of Breezy and Rockaway guys, right? And that's one thing that Kevin Fontaine said. It's interesting. We've got like 4 busloads coming from the Rockaways to Bay Ridge, and that is so much of his roster this year.
Yeah, I think if you're coaching at Xaverian, one of the first things you got to do is make sure that talent out there in the Rockaways doesn't bypass you to head to Union Square and go to Xavier every year. So I think they've definitely won that talent battle, and that's why Xavier's sitting at home right now.
Ouch.
Sorry to any Xavier faithful. I'm sure you guys can still remember a year ago hosting a championship trophy on Championship Saturday. So.
And their season is still alive. They'll be here on this field on Thursday morning for the 100th edition of their Turkey Bowl against Fordham Prep, the Battle of the Jesuits.
Yeah, one of the greatest traditions in New York high school football. Every year we've talked a lot about Mount versus Cardinal Hayes, which in its own right is a fantastic rivalry, but Xavier versus Fordham Prep, a lot of fun.
Yeah, the time, I think there's like a 30-minute difference between the times. Like the Fordham Xavier game always kicks off at 10, and Mount and Hayes, which is always played up there on Murdoch Avenue, is a 10:30 kickoff.
That kind of action, who really needs the Macy's Thanksgiving Day? That's my question.
2nd and 7. Mount from its 45.
So the Mount just looking to wind this clock down, and you mentioned it before as well. In our preparation for these 3 championship games, we did get a chance to, of course, speak with C.J. O'Neill, the Cardinal Hayes coach, who at one time played for Mario Valentini, and he was a graduate of the Mount in 1987. As there's a handoff on first down, nice quality run, pushing forward, and it's Franklin Dominguez. But we spoke with CJ, just his thoughts on Mario and what this means for Valentini. And he said, listen, he's a mentor to me. It was an honor to play for him. And he said he's also someone who helped him create his life and someone who's always been there for him throughout his career. So he said it's always an honor on Thanksgiving morning to line up against him and to call him a friend after all these years. He said just to have Valentini in this championship game, he said it's amazing to see it. And he couldn't be more thrilled to watch him go out in a championship game.
I think what stands out the most to me of those really nice words from Coach C.J. O'Neill is just the fact that he mentions Coach Valentini helped him create his life. And I think that really speaks to this important role that high school football coaches play within these guys' development. There's, over the course of the past 40 years, probably over, definitely hundreds, but maybe thousands of men out there who are forever going to be different because Mario Valentini came into their lives at a really key junction. And I can just tell you, some football coaches from the high school level really helped mold me into the man that I am. Thank you to guys like Mike Potter and Dennis Harmon, and everybody's got a few of those coaches. Coach Valentini, one of the very best.
Yeah, 40 years at the helm here at the Mount, and he's 6 minutes away from one last championship hoist. And the question, I think, at least for us, is will they hoist Coach Valentini on their shoulders and perhaps carry him off the field? He wouldn't want that. I can tell you that after knowing him for probably the last 20 years or so. It's something I don't think he wants. Again, he doesn't want it to be about him, which speaks to how humble and selfless he is as a coach. And that also carries onto his players, right? He said, how many times did he mention when he was talking about his different players that they had to accept a lesser role this year, right? And they bought into it. Guys like Tyler Bobay, right, accepted his role as maybe not being the feature back, right? Carl Shaw maybe won that as the one running back, but he's accepted that role, and he said the same about a bunch of other guys. A guy like, who did he talk about? Was it Caldwell, right? Zaire Caldwell. Maybe didn't want to play on the offensive line, right? But he knew that he needed to, and he sacrificed for his team. Of course, there was a little bit of a talk here. Listen, I can still play defense, right, Coach? If I can play defense, I'll still do it. So there had to be a little bit of a back and forth. But I think, so often we say in this sport that the team often, who the coach is or how the coach is, it carries over to the players, and I think we're seeing that from this Mount team.
Yeah, I think this team definitely reflects the personality of Coach Valentini. He's such a selfless guy. That really comes across the second that you start talking to him about his football team. It's never I, it's always we, and I think that's really translated into how this team has carried themselves all the way to this AA-2 title game. One guy that kind of stands out to me is Mark Pearson. He's returning starting quarterback. He's a senior, a guy who had a great junior season and was kind of asked to, hey, we're going to run the ball a little bit more than you're used to. It might not be airing it out 20 or 30 times a game like you might want. And you know what Pearson did? He took it in stride, and he said, whatever you guys need from me, that's the kind of quarterback that I'm going to be. That's why right now he's 5 minutes away or 4 minutes away from hoisting a championship trophy.
4th and 2 for the Mount. Maybe looking to move the chains here and, again, have this clock wind down. The pitch goes to Bobay.
And that just shows you the trust they have in Bobay.
And Thomas Regan on the tackle. There's a flag on the play. Regan, one of those guys who does play both ways. And a guy who started off as a left tackle, but they found a little more consistency at right tackle for him. But he's on the D line as well. Had a couple big tackles for losses a week ago. Of the two-way linemen that Xaverian has, probably the best of the bunch. 6'3", 255, and just a junior as well.
Yeah, junior from Queens. Really, prototypical type offensive and defensive lineman at 6'3", 255. Good to see these guys still fighting. I know I mention it all the time whenever a game gets out of hand, but it really does reflect on who you are as a man, what kind of character you bring to the table, and I think the Xaverian faithful can feel good about the level of effort that these guys put out here today.
A couple more scores for you from Long Island Public School football. Garden City leads Cary 21-0. And North Babylon ahead of West Islip 13-7 at the half. those two teams, or the two winners, would meet each other in the Long Island Championship.
Garden City, just a freight train. We had the pleasure of calling one of their games last weekend. And team going for an all-time Long Island record of wins.
So we mentioned a lot about Mount's history, but listen, Xaverian trying to build up their own history. They don't have as much of a history. It's a school that didn't open until much later. You see, their first year of football wasn't until 1995, and they joined the Catholic Football League in '96. And you see the championship Clippers with 2 championships to their name. They have those in the gym. And do you remember O'Day?
I don't. I gotta say it's incredible. But, 5th round draft pick from such a young program. That's pretty impressive.
Their home field, Aviator Sports Complex in Floyd Bennett Field. Little known fact. I don't think I've told you this, Pat, before. I was married at Aviator Sports Complex.
Wow.
On the ice as well.
You truly are a New York football man through and through. I love it.
We didn't utilize the outdoor field. We did think about it, like, is it an outdoor wedding? And we got a little bit worried. It was around Labor Day, like, what's the weather going to be like? So we kicked it indoors.
Plus, Mrs. Butler knew she was going to be giving up a lot of weekends the rest of her life to football, so didn't have to start it off on a football.
This is an excellent point. But a terrific complex there. And that's one of the things, too, right? That's different. I'm on the island now. You're a Long Island guy. Like, you just always maybe take for granted, oh, yeah, we play at the school, right? Like, of course we have a field. And Mount St. Michael does, right? And Iona does, and Stepanak does, but they're kind of outliers in a way. So many of these city schools don't have a true, quote-unquote, home football field. So Xaverian, small campus there in Bay Ridge, it's not a long trip, but still, they do have to get on a bus, and they do have to get to Floyd Bennett Field, to Aviator Sports Complex. So it's part of, I guess, the fabric of playing Catholic League football in the city.
Yeah, it just kind of speaks to some of the challenges that New York City kids have in trying to gain access to, football facilities and that sort of thing. It's not easy. A lot of times it requires hopping on a bus, hopping on a subway, and that's just part of how these kids live their life. But I think it does, kind of cause some of the extra toughness that you see when you're out here watching New York City football players. These guys have to fight for everything that they get, and no different out here on the field today.
And listen, back in my day when St. Francis Prep was a juggernaut, the Terriers won my first 3 years, the AAA championship. Went back to back to back, led by Marco Battaglia, future Rutgers great, Hall of Famer at Rutgers. Now, then I'm with the Bengals as well.
Absolutely.
But the home field there is St. John's University, and now that's not even an option, right? So you have the Battle of the Boulevard, which is supposed to be Francis Lewis Boulevard, and it was played at Mitchell Athletic Complex as this one aired out by Matty Wood, incomplete down the field. And that's one of the great things for Mount, right? They've got that beautiful complex at Rocco Camiso Field.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Mount, between the facilities that they have, their location in the Bronx, and then, just their illustrious history in New York Catholic football, I think there's certainly, an opportunity for them to move up in the future. I know that, the AA-1 division is potentially a good landing spot for them, especially as they continue to improve their numbers, bring more talent into the building. But as you mentioned, this is a school that has dominated the AAA in the past, Ethan. So really a lot of bright things to look forward to in the future if you're a Mountaineer fan.
And when you look at the landscape in the Catholic Football League this year, there's less of a separation this year from the lowest level of AA-2 all the way up to the AAA, right? Because you do play between divisions, and we saw this year like St. John the Baptist beating Chaminade, right? They were a AA-1 team, and More Catholic the year before beating Monsignor Farrell, and this year beating Chaminade, right? So AA-2 teams getting wins over AA-1 teams as well. So
that's a really just kind of neat feature of this Catholic League. The fact that it's not quite a relegation type model, but something similar where you are matching up based on how you think you can compete that given year. You've got a lot of teams spread throughout the league with great history that have won at the highest level. So I think that should be every program's goal. I think it certainly is at Mount, and probably a team with better odds than most playing in this AA-2 division of moving up and having success at higher levels.
And now all the focus goes to that man right there, Mario Valentini. Again, 40th and final year as Mount St. Michael head coach. He is also, he is Mount through and through. He's a guy who was a student at the Mount as well, 1969 graduate of the Mount. So he's a guy who knows that fight song. It is in his sleep. He knows it by heart for all these years. Has just lived and breathed Mount St. Michael athletics as the athletics director, but of course football as well. This is his baby, and this has got to be so satisfying for him right now. There you see him in the middle of the huddle. When I had to ask him, of course, right, about this and about kind of the storylines coming into this, and he said, I just try not to go down that path. It's just trying to get these kids to the next level after last year's disappointment. Is trying to get them that feeling of finishing the season off. He said it's more about them regardless of my situation. He tries not to let that interfere with anything. The emphasis, he said, has to be on the kids. He has a chance to look back when the season's over. But when you get into this line of work, he said you have to put the kids first. He said he's been blessed and fortunate for 4 decades to coach Mount St. Michael football.
Yeah, it's classic Mario Valentini, always going to deflect his successes to the kids and the coaches around him. But, you know, I think after 40 years, 44 in total at Mount, got to take a second to just really appreciate the body of work that he's put in, the tremendous accomplishments he's had throughout his career, dating back to the Carter administration out there, which is crazy to think of all that he's seen since he got to Mount St. Michael, but really got to feel great here in 2023 for him to walk off this field at Fordham a champion.
A year ago, kind of had to adjust to the spread offense, right, and kind of change things around a little bit from, I believe it was a triple option that he once ran at Mount for so many years. And you know what? He can't even really reflect on his career after this game because he has another game to prepare for, the 80th Turkey Bowl as well. So,
and yeah, no relaxing over the next 5 days leading to that one against a team that a lot of people think is the best in New York right now. I guess we'll settle that one later tonight. But
and how special will that be on that afternoon or that morning, on Thanksgiving morning, where C.J. O'Neill, right, the mentor, the former student, against the master and Mario Valentini. Certainly, if there were odds makers out there, the edge or the odds would go to Hayes, but there's something special cooking right now at the Mount, and they'll take one final kneel down, and Mario Valentini gets the Gatorade. And look at him just being surrounded by all of the current Mount players. What a moment for Mount St. Michael, and they will pick him up. The big man, 58. How about everybody grab? Look at the big hugs. That's terrific. Jair Edwards, the freshman, giving him a big bear hug. That's all of 6'2", 265. So I hope Mario's feeling all right after that one, but what a moment. Congratulations to Mario Valentini and the Mount St. Michael Mountaineers. They are your 2023 AA-2 champions. And look at the sign, the show of respect as well, right, from today's game officials.
You can see the kind of love that all these guys have for one another and for their coach. Mario Valentini getting the love and admiration of everybody walking off that field there today. And I know that he won't be done for another 5 days or so. But boy, what a great final chapter this has been for Coach Valentini at Mount St. Michael.
What must be going through his mind right now? Again, he's trying to keep it focused still on his team, but you know this is emotional as he and Kevin Fontaine now share a few words during the handshake line as well, and the coaching staffs as well with the handshake after. and we will stick it here because I do wonder if they plan to carry Mario Valentini off this field as a champion in the Catholic High School Football League for one last time. This is Mount St. Michael's 5th overall championship, and they've now won on all 3 levels, Pat. They have 3 AAA championships, 1 AA championship, or AA1, and now a AA-2 title as well. So they will flip for joy as well. That was nice stuff there from D'Angelo Cabrera. Nailed the landing.
Oh yeah, gotta love it. And I'm sure Coach Valentini's feeling good now too, knowing that he can fill out a hand properly with rings. That 5th title for him over these 40 years at Mount.
And a hug there from his quarterback, Mark Pearson, as well. And what a moment for Mario Valentini and the Mounts. There is a trophy presentation to be had as well. There'll be an MVP awarded. Mario gets his hat back. Lost it amid all that celebration, and he sends his guys out toward midfield. You can tell these guys are coached right because they were going right to the huddle like they always do, right? Hang on, we have a trophy presentation, guys.
Just pure bliss at this point. So much hard work all year long. These guys remember exactly how it felt to be on that other side of this trophy presentation last year. So much work throughout this offseason to try and get back here, try and finish things the right way. And that's exactly what they did. 34-3. Mount couldn't have finished any better with a nearly flawless ball game out here at Oakland Field.
Yeah, big emotions here in the Bronx.
The most valuable player on offense from the AA-2 game, Mount St. Michael, number 7, Carl Shaw.
So Carl Shaw awarded the AA-2 offensive player of the game. Before that, you see there D'Angelo Cabrera getting the defensive player of the game. Had a big strip sack, of course, as well.
Hard to narrow it down to a couple guys. Shaw, obviously, with the hat trick of touchdowns. A great performance today. Cabrera with that huge strip sack, or strip for the touchdown.
There you see the president of the Catholic High School Football League handing Mario Valentini the championship trophy for one last time. How great does that feel for the legendary head coach? What a moment.
And I know that everybody tends to remember the 5 titles, the 5 championships. But you know what? Really, his lasting impact will be all those lives that he changed of young men who walked through the hallways of Mount St. Michael Academy. Hats off to Coach on 4 decades of doing it the right way.
Yeah, these boys will fall with another championship title to put in that gym on Murdoch Avenue. And still, the hugs from all the current players. You know, there's alums there as well in the mix. They somehow finagled themselves a field pass. What a terrific moment for Mario Valentini.
One thing to take into account as you see those alumni is, you know, it's the team on the field that gets to hold up the trophy, but it's really an alumni base back home that also gets to enjoy the celebration. Everybody who's been Mountaineer, Mount St. Michael, has to feel good seeing their longtime coach go off the right way.
And it's a family affair, right? And certainly is the case for Mario Valentini as well, and a lot of family there as well for him. And you know, what a terrific man. And again, I said to, as we finished our conversation leading up to this game, you know, I just said thank you. He thanked me for our talk, and I said thank you. You know, these have been great, and in different roles. I've known him, like I said, for 2 decades, and we'll miss those moments, you know, as broadcaster and coach as well. And this is the way, you know, you dream of finishing up, right? Although, again, we have one more to go. Hang on. We still got to play the Turkey Bowl. That's going to be certainly something Mario will mention. But what a great moment as he'll walk off the field a champion.
Hollywood ending, really, for Coach Valentini. And I know that he's going to hope that it's a true Hollywood ending with an upset against Hayes in a couple days. But, boy, that's got to feel pretty amazing after 44 years in the coaching business.
Yeah, there are tears of joy on that sideline. Mario with what looked like his security team trying to walk him off the field. Still others want to offer congratulations. It's a moment, right? As a coach, you probably don't want to end. But it will have to. And they will have to make their way off the field, these Mountaineers, because there is more football to be played. But what a moment for Mario Valentini. Again, our congratulations to him and his staff and the Mountaineers for another championship in this Catholic High School Football League. So that'll do it here for game 1 of 3. I want to thank the entire Varsity Media crew. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin. Our technical director is Chris Sweeney. Travis DeLuise and Dan Ace Acevedo bringing you all those terrific moving images. For my broadcast partner, Pat Godfrey, I'm Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.